How's that?
Well, I
What do you-
guess put yourself back where you were, Jeffrey. I'm gonna get you two to be the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're the same.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, we're on air. Shh, quiet.
Good. Okay. 40 seconds. All right. I'm gonna put you on, and you're gonna go for 3 hours nonstop. You're gonna do it without Danny too. Did you get a chance to listen to Art Bell's Bigfoot show the other day? 20 seconds. 25.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, 25. Alrighty. Check 1, 2. Okay. 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something you cannot explain?
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky, you realize you're not alone. Open your eyes, you can find the trails that control.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in a city called Fresno, California. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show. I'm also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society. Have been in existence for over now, I'm going to say 14 years. We're just not up here talking about it. We actually live it. We're investigators. Have been doing that for a while now. This is why we are here, to show you the evidence and to bring you other people's evidences as well. Because we run into this stuff every day of our lives. So thank you for showing up wherever you may be. I have a team. One of the members of those teams, his name is Alan Thomas, is sitting to the right-hand side of me.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Everybody in chat. What's up?
All right. Well, thank you for showing up wherever you may be. If you are watching us right now, it's on live stream. HD quality video going out through their servers worldwide. Or if you want, you can also just listen to us. If you want to be on the go, you can go to the artbell.com website at the Dark Matter Digital Network. They are carrying our audio worldwide digitally and pumping it through their servers. So you have two ways of getting our signal. The best way is to go to our website at paranormalcentral.net, and there are two links, one to live stream and the other to the Dark Matter Digital Network, the artbell.com website. You can listen to us on the TuneIn app if you have it, the app. You can go download it for free and just type in Dark Matter Digital Network, and you can listen to all their shows on their network at artbell.com. You can go to their website at artbell.com and you can pull up their schedule of all of the paranormal shows that they have running probably 24 hours every single day. And Keith Rowland is in charge of that. Matter of fact, that's who we were just talking to before the show. If you did hear him, we were adjusting some volumes because some volumes last week got messed up, and I think one of my Earphone amplifiers fell, and I think that broke, and I don't know how that screwed up, but it screwed up everything else. I don't know, but I'm glad it sounds good. It should sound good now throughout the internet world and on artbell.com. So, okay, so let's get on with the show. Today we went out on one of our excursions up
Yes,
in
we
the
did.
mountain. People have been saying, you guys are all talking, no action. You guys keep saying you guys go up and look for Bigfoot or go out UFO hunting. Well, why don't we see any of this stuff? And, sometimes when we go out, it's boring. Sometimes it is. It's just, you don't get stuff every time you go out. That is a myth. Simple as that. What you watch on TV nowadays, example, ghost hunters. When they get stuff every single Wednesday, that's not the way it works, guys. I'm sorry. We go out looking up in the mountains, and when we get UFO calls, well, obviously it already happened. So the only thing exciting for us to go do is to go talk to the person, the eyewitness, and get info from them. It's not like they were able to snap a photograph of whatever they witnessed, and if they did, it's a little light in the far distance. From a cell phone, you can't really tell what really they saw through their eyes. It just doesn't come across on a cell phone. It doesn't, or even a video camera if you know what you're doing. It doesn't. So the only thing we can do is to bring it to you here on the microphone, and we try to do that as
And
best
just
as we
talk
can.
about
and
it,
Talk about
you
it.
know.
Right.
Even though I thought, it was like not real eventive, as in Bigfoot's eventive, doing things. It was still fun.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things happened to us, and
Yeah.
we're going to talk about a couple of those things. Danny Valderrama is not going to be here to talk about the Bigfoot report. Why? I mean, you guys all know why. Because he's on vacation. Where's he at? He's in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville. He's over there checking out. Who did he have on the plane with him? I mean, I didn't believe him at first.
Priscilla Presley.
Yeah. I bet she slapped him silly, get that phone out of my face.
So he was on the airplane, I think from L.A. to Nashville, Tennessee, and guess who was on the airplane with him? That's Priscilla Presley. And Danny couldn't keep his hands off of her. That the security, how they had that FBI security person on there?
Yeah.
He had to just tell him to knock it off and leave her alone. God, Danny, dude, mellow out. You're going to give us a bad rap. I mean, you already give us a bad rap. Knock it off. But no, he sent us pictures, and sure enough, it was Priscilla Presley. But there you go. That's what happens when you get out of get out of town and go sightseeing and go on vacation. You tend to run into big time celebrities. And
Yeah, actually, these two grays behind us, we can't get rid of them. They're like our number one fans.
Since we have been doing this, we finally come to realize that these grays are really not the most nicest beings.
No, and they
yet-
stare incessantly.
And yet we promote them like crazy here. I even got a tattoo a while back of if you can see it on my arm, a flying saucer with an alien on the dome, and it says SPS. And that was way before I even started this. It stands for Sanger Paranormal Society, and eventually one of these days, probably soon, I'm thinking, and great episode for TV would be all of us going and getting a tattoo, even the band all together, me getting a Bigfoot on this arm. I don't know what you're gonna get.
I'll get an airbrush.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So we can wash it off.
I was gonna say, would you want to get a tattoo if I pay for it?
Maybe. I never had one. Never got a tattoo.
Well, sure. I mean, but it's always good to have one. And I guess rule number 5 right here, if you look at paragraph 6, sentence 3, in order to be part of Paranormal Central, you have to have a tattoo.
Really? I want one that says mom.
Mom?
Yeah.
So that goes for you too, Danny.
Yeah. He wants one that says wife.
Or dumbass. And I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. So and we're gonna have to go out on a group. Let's say a group field trip to a local. close by.
Actually, you know, I
Tattoo
probably would
place.
want one. One on this side butt cheek that says "gone," and the other one says "gone squatching."
So that way, when the Bigfoot gets you and pull down your pants,
It's like I'm gone squatching. You know, yeah.
yeah. So whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want, but it's got to be
I'll
on.
have to think about this.
But we're
one.
it's gonna be on video, so people, you're gonna be blind. I'm blind. So all right, yeah. And I have been talking about that. My wife and I, we want to go get other tattoos, and the band, Possessed Tranquility, they're all tatted up, except for I don't know if the drummer is.
I don't know. I haven't seen one.
I know Corey, and I know Kaylee, and I know Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
I know they're tatted up.
They got the
big time.
tribal tattoos.
They got all. They're all tatted up. So, and I think maybe all you guys would definitely want to see the girls get tatted up in front. They have to drop down their shorts or their. You know what I'm saying? So I think you guys.
Oh, they want the gone squatching ones also.
I think
right?
you guys will get a kick out of that. And for those who have never seen the band, go to our website at paranormalcentral.net. And take a look at the band pictures, and you'll see what I'm talking about with the band, the females in the band, like the guitar player and the bass player. So I think you'll understand. All right. I am waiting for somebody to respond back to me. I get a lot of calls on my 24-hour hotline. I do. And most of them, a majority of them, are from people who have problems in their homes. And when I'm saying problems, I'm talking about negativity, entity, evil presence in their homes. And, a lot of people who know us and who've been watching this show and listening to this show know we talk a lot about religion here. And, there's a lot of paranormal groups out there who go and look for ghosts because it's fun. I mean, who doesn't like to go into I don't know, there's places that are supposed to be haunted, and you go in there all night, and you have your recorders and you have your DVRs and all that, and it's fun. We haven't had many calls of that at all. Basically, people don't care if you come in, and they already know what's in their homes. They already know.
9 times out of 10 they do.
And they just want it out.
Yeah.
I don't want you coming in and setting up your cameras and telling me that, yep, oh yeah, there's something in here. I can care less what they say. I want you to tell me how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling you about. And so, because of Alan's past history, he has found out how to get rid of these things. And he's told me, and we kind of told people here on, and a lot of people don't like when we start talking about that because it involves religion. Well, I tell these people how to get rid of it, and it works. Now, there's one particular person that called me last month. She happens to be a friend. We went to high school together. I know, their family really well. They're from Sanger, California. And she was she lives in LA now in Orange County. Now, when people call up and when people hear about people's homes being haunted, right away they think, oh, it must be an old house, an antique house made in the 1950s, 1940s, and it's old, and so it's going to be haunted. This particular house that they live in right now is not an old house. Matter of fact, it's, from what I understand, it's a very nice house, very big house. These people who called me, the husband is in the alcohol business, beer business, so you can tell, that their house is a good sized house. It's not an antique. It's not old. I guess for a long time, the family have been witnessing something in their home. And their daughter, I guess, since she was small, have been telling them that she has been witnessing or seeing this female and in her room, and the family really didn't pay much attention to her. They just brushed it off as a wild imagination until one of her brothers and she has a lot of brothers. I'm not gonna. I tried to get her brother to come on tonight, and he says, "No, I'm gonna pass. You have a good show," and he just didn't want any part of it. But I'm not gonna say what his name is. When she calls, and I'm waiting for her to give me her number, because we're gonna talk to her, and I'm gonna let her tell you what happened during and after what I told her to say, and then she did. But anyways, her brother goes to L.A. a lot, Orange County, and spends, stays there when he's there. And he happened to have been sleeping in a separate bedroom with 2 beds in it, right? And I guess he was laying in bed, and he turned over, and the lady that had been witnessing was sleeping in the next bed over, looking right at him. And he says, "That's it, I'm out of here. And I'm not coming back until you get rid of whatever is here." So that really spooked him. All right. So Joni, and I'm going to tell you what her name is, Joni, called her mom in Sanger. And her name is Dolores Gonzalez. For all those who don't know who I'm talking about, there you go. And for those who live in Sanger who don't know who Dolores or Renee Gonzalez is, well then, and no relation to us, no relation to me, but our family has known their family for a long time. Joni called her mom and said, "Man, we're tired of this, whatever is in our house. We need to get rid of it." And Dolores told Joni, "Well, why don't you call Jeffrey?" And so Joni did. And that's where the story begins. So I'm hoping that she's going to call me back here, or not call me, but text me back with the number she wants me to call her at. And then I'll call her and we'll go from there. So, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to, since we don't have Danny, we're going to show you some pictures and tell you what we did today. We went to the spot. The main reason we went, and it wasn't going to be a long day, it wasn't going to be one of those camping trips, Bigfoot excursions that we usually do for the weekend. It was just to go up. I have a couple, actually I have 3 cameras up there. And the whole...
Had.
Well, we were going to go up and get the cameras and, take them down and bring them home, because the winter month is coming up, and what happens is the Department of Forestry lock up the gates. And when they do that, then there's no access down in there. The place that we go to didn't used to have a gate until Finding Bigfoot came down, and they did their filming of Bigfoot in that spot with David Ragosa, and we had, or actually Alan had a little part in it showing the windows. After that episode got shot in that area, not more than a couple of weeks later, the Department of Forestry spent a lot of money, went up and put some fences and gates, not fences. These are barricades, more like it. So, and this is like, when you get up to the top of the hill, there are several dirt roads that you can take into the forest. There were already green gates on there, right?
Right. And then, you know what I noticed today that it knew about it? They have like pole, what do you call it? Pole fence? I mean, it's like some serious poles. Right. Steel poles. And they filled it with expanding foam. They filled all the pipes with expanding foam. You could see like the end of the pipes with this expanding foam popped out of it, and all the gates and everything all filled with the expanding foam. I was like, man, what was that for? Like, I know I read somewhere that like if you hit a torch to it, it just blows back in your face or something, but I don't know. Maybe it makes it harder to cut or something. It sounds like to me looks like to me, they really don't want anyone in there. When they shut the gate, they want you out.
They were basically enforcing it. I mean,
yeah. So like you're not gonna go. What was really sad to me was everything was dead. I probably should show some pictures. I left them at my house though, but only man, all the trees were dead. It was dry. There were stickers everywhere.
You know what? I think I found her number.
I mean, it was nasty.
Let me call this number right now, and
And it wasn't really where the spot isn't real far from where they just had that rough fire. They call it the rough fire. I don't know, it burned like a lot of Kings Canyon National Park.
Let's see if this is Joni. I told her I was going to call
I'm
her.
sorry, wrong number.
I was going to call her at 20 after.
Hello?
Hi, is Joni there?
Joey, you got the wrong number.
Oh, okay, thanks. Well, that's not the number.
I called it.
That's not the number. It's, I'm looking at my phone 'cause she called me a while back, and I'm looking for it. So hopefully she'll call back. Anyway, okay, let's continue on with the.
Yeah, it was really dry, but
Yeah, I mean, it was. Everything was dead almost.
it was really dead.
Really
a lot
bad.
of dead trees. I was looking at the canyon, like across the way, and it was just like stands, like a whole forest of dead trees all across the whole thing. And I mean that's the first time I noticed a bunch of dead ones when we were at Thule a month or so ago. And I was even commenting on that, like, look at all the dead trees, the beetles are getting them. And even down here, I mean, whatever they're spraying up there and the drought we have, it's killing everything, man. I mean, it's making everything dead.
Okay, so we left, and Alan came to my house. We got in my vehicle, and we shot up and picked up Robert Scott, who is part of the team. He lives on the way there. Stopped by, picked him up, and we headed up. And we arrived at the spot. Actually, 3 weeks ago, I told him, there are some cameras up there. I know where two of them are at. The other one, I don't know what happened. I don't remember where we put it. I mean, I really don't know. And the fire, a lot of the roads were blocked. And I said, dude, you need to find out if the roads are open so we can get up there. And I asked him, could you go up there? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So he went up there on his own time with his brother a couple of weeks ago. And he texted me after he got back. He said, hey, we instead of going through the dirt road toward the spot, we took a left towards the meadow area. And he says he was round just as he turned onto that dirt road. Around the corner, he said, on the corner of his eye, he saw something standing near a tree, and he looked away and looked back, and it was gone. And he he wasn't quite sure what he was looking at. And he went, they drove around that little hill, and he stopped. And they got out. And, his brother said, is that where you saw whatever you just saw? And I said, I think so. So they started walking, and not more than 50 feet from the dirt road where they parked, they noticed this flattened area. And I'm going to show that to you right now. It's, when let's just say an animal or a person, when they lay down on a grass, they tend to squish it all down, and that once that person or that animal leaves, you can tell something was laying there. Well, as soon as he walked up to the tree, he noticed that, and let me find it here. It is right here. Okay, so he noticed that this was there. All right, let me go and poke that. Really? So I'm hoping that you guys are seeing that right now. Why didn't I? Again, I just lost this part, which is blowing me away. But okay. And this is a very large place. Now, you guys are probably saying, well, it could be anything. It could be a deer. It could, it could have been just a laying place for an animal. But this thing was large, very large. I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot, not at all, but coincidental that not right. If you're looking at the picture right now, if you walk up where there is a trail leading to the tree where he saw this thing standing.
And he was saying it was like 12 feet tall.
He said it was freaking tall because where he's standing at right now,
and it stunk.
Yes, that when he was there, he said there was an odor to it.
which wasn't there when we showed up. But that little bedding place, yeah, it's showing on here. That's like about 7 feet long, right there that you're looking at. It's about 7 feet long.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
So you could tell by 7 feet long by 3 or 4 feet wide, right?
Ah, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Okay, and now in our field, coincidences do not happen. I'm so sorry, they don't. When he stopped the vehicle and wanted to walk up to the tree to see if whatever what he saw was still there, but before he got to that point, he noticed this nest. All right. Then at that time, he said it smelled very musty. So I don't know. He probably wouldn't have said anything if this nest wasn't there, because it could have been. Because when you're driving up there, shadows, burnt trees, they look like different things. They throw you off. Yeah. You're driving, all of a sudden you hit the brake and you say, what the hell is that? You back up, you're looking, and it's a burned tree stump or a broken tree that just happens to look like someone standing there. That's just the way it is. We get that all the time when we're driving up there. We have to do a double take. What was that? What? We all stop, we all look. No, that, somebody might get out of the car, walk up a little bit. No, dude, that's a tree. Okay, good. But here, you have the I don't want to say nest, but just a dry up location where something was laying there. It was.
And he had his brother with him, and they both described the same thing, but they said they did like a double take, like they looked and seen it, and they looked at each other, and then when they looked back, it was gone. Right. Like that. And that's usually how a Bigfoot
works.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, serious. That's how a Bigfoot is, and a lot of people get mad at us, like with videos and stuff like that. They'll be like, "How come you didn't leave it on there longer?" It'll be like you're looking for a second, and then you decide to get like a better angle or something because you don't think it's going to run away,
and it does.
Yeah, and then when you look up, it's gone.
The same thing goes when you're when you're looking at UFO.
Yep,
and,
same thing.
And you don't want to take your eyes off of it. And as soon as you do to go grab your cell phone, you look up, boom, and it's gone. It's like, oh, damn it. So anyways, so that's the first thing we did when we got there. And so I made a U-turn, and we went back, and then we started going to the spot. And we got to the spot where I know I placed these two cameras. Now, I don't know, 4 months ago, I think we talked about, where actually it was last year, I think, but we were up hiking because, when we go to the spot, and for all those who don't know, we have a spot where the Bigfoots are at. It's as simple as that. We go hiking because we want to find things. We want to find evidence of Bigfoots. And the only way you're going to do it is if you get up off your ass and you hike and you hike and you hike and you sweat and you get dirty and you fall down and you get stickers up your you-know-what. And
I got
you
a handful.
smell.
My fingers are all full of stickers.
Okay, and that's what you have to do in order to find evidence. And we were coming back down this hill, and Danny spotted some very large tree limbs that were like piled onto each other. Now you have to understand where we are at. There are nobody else around. Maybe down the ways there might be people on quads or whatever, but they don't go down this way because it's a dead end where the spot is at. And I think all the people who drive quads know that. But again, we're talking 5,500 square feet, and there are very seldom people up there, if any at all, period. So we're talking to ourselves, okay, what would be the purpose of human beings grabbing these large limbs that are probably, 400 pounds, 300 pounds, and stacking them in a certain way that a human being, there would be absolutely no reason for a human being to do this. All right. And then, so Danny starts taking photographs, and we've shown you these photographs in previous shows. I start looking around, and I just happen to see this really cool tree, and I look up this tree, and I notice that, boy, this would be a cool tree to climb if I was a Bigfoot, and I look up, and I notice there's some things, some firewoods up there, and I've told you this before, so I decided, you know what? If this is a tree house, playhouse tree for a Bigfoot or for a family of Bigfoots, I think I'm going to put some cameras on this tree right over here, pointing 2 cameras at this large tree, which I did. And right now what I'm going to show you is I am going to show you... What was that? I heard something. That was weird. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you my big, fat, you-know-what, climbing a tree at the spot. Now, behind me, sort of kind of, is where this tree in question is. Now, for all those who don't know, I climb trees and I put them. And I think I'm the only one, and I'm going to say I'm probably the first one to start doing this. I've been doing this now going on, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, and I showed it 3 or 4 years. And I thought about this because animals, people, they don't tend to look up. When you're walking, you're eye level, you're looking on the floor, making sure you're not tripping over things. And we've had cameras at waist high and shoulder high, and animals like bears like to rip them off and lick them, and because they smell the scent of humans on them, because we're always handling them. And if you handle anything before handling the camera, like drinking a Pepsi or eating a candy bar on the way up, they're going to smell that. So here now you have bears licking the screen and trying to take it off or whatever. So I decided, you know what? Because I work for the phone company and I am trained, certified pole climber, I decided to purchase my own equipment and start placing.
Hey, they say that you're saying it. You get mail, so turn the volume on that down.
It is. It's totally off.
Huh. It can't be on this, can it? No.
Okay. You know what? Let me go to. Hold on.
Do you have your?
You know what? If it's on here, let me get out of there. Okay.
Yeah, get out of there. That's what it is.
Okay. Got it. Thank you very much for saying that. All right. It's weird because the volume right here is turned off.
Right. But I don't know how.
Right. Okay.
They said it blew their ears off.
Oh, well, I'm glad. And I heard that too. So I'm glad you guys said something. All right, let's go back to my fat butt up the tree. All right. So I put the cameras up there. Matter of fact, I put 2 cameras.
AOL. Ancient.
Yes.
Means ancient.
Well, because I am trying to stay away from the man, that's why I'm still using AOL. So
right.
Hopefully that'll help.
Better than Google
or Yahoo or anybody like that. So I've been with AOL in the 80s or when did
back when you used dial-up?
Yeah, back that when you got there were so many of those discs that you can get for AOL. Yeah. That's how I started, and I've always had AOL, and I've kept it ever since.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I placed 2 cameras. Okay, today we went back to the spot. And let me pull up the tree. All right. The cameras were gone.
Yeah. Bigfoot stole our cameras.
The cameras were there for over a year.
Yep.
And we were planning on going to get them a couple of months ago, but we couldn't because of the fires, and it just didn't have the time. And finally, we placed them up there on Memorial Day.
We knew they weren't going anywhere.
We weren't. We weren't. Yeah. Okay.
When you put them 20 feet up in a tree.
No, not 20 feet. About 12 feet. 12 to 13
still.
feet.
I mean,
okay, that is tall, you guys.
5 foot something. I can't even reach 8 feet. Right? Like I can't stand there and reach 8 feet.
Right. Oh, no way. No way. This was if you see me.
So who was taking them?
Okay. Well. Okay. No. Okay. Now let's stop right there. Okay. there are people who go hunting.
Yeah, there is.
All right, they're deer hunters. All right, now you have to understand how many millions of acres are up there.
Yeah.
There are. I mean, we're not. This is not a campsite, you guys.
Look at the dead trees too, guys.
Okay, this is not a
They're
campsite.
dead.
All right, now when I arrived at the spot and I looked at the tree, I went, "Oh no." Then I thought to myself, "Okay, I am an investigator. I'm going to try to debunk this. There's got to be a logical explanation for my cameras to simply vanish." All right. So I'm going, okay. And Robert Scott was with me, and he's tripping. All right. He's going, what? I'm going, look, dude, you were with me when we placed them. Here they are. And he goes, yeah, they're gone. Even the screw mount that I screwed into the tree, the little thing that screw the camera on it, is gone. All right. What if by just accidental, some guy was hunting and decided to walk up this area and saw the two cameras and said, "Whoa, man, look at two cameras, man!"
In a forest full of trees.
Okay, he's gonna go. I want those cameras, and he's trying to jump and he can't, and he's tried to climb the tree and he slides back down and he's like, I want those cameras. Is he going to go all the way back home, wherever he came from,
And get a ladder.
And come all the way back and take this ladder all the way up this hill through brush, through stickers, and put that ladder up
For a $50 camera.
for two $60 cameras?
Yeah.
Hell no.
He'll
Now-
spend more in gas going there and back.
Now, what would be the odds of a hunter?
There was no debris on the ground.
No.
Of a camera.
What would be okay, a hunter is walking.
And these were put in with
It's screwed.
the mounts. They weren't like strapped.
Right.
Okay.
Now, when you walk up in the mountain, how many of you guys have gone hiking? All right. And the sole purpose of hiking, depending on what type of hiking you do, when you're walking in the forest, you are walking and you're watching where you place your foot, so you don't trip and break your ankle, because the weeds they go up to about your knees. All right. So you're like.
See, now somebody in chat was saying, what about the stand hunter? Okay, now if you're a hunter, now like I was a hunter for years until I saw Bigfoot. Okay, I mean I grew up hunting. If you're a stand hunter, you're looking for a trail, and then you put your stand somewhere where you know the deer are moving through or the game. Sure. You find a game trail and you put there's no game trail.
Okay.
I mean, this is like
but
real far from any game trail.
Yeah, but you guys have to understand now. There is, again,
I mean,
a million
some
acres.
dumb Elmer Fudd could have, took his tree stand over there and went,
No.
"Oh wow, look, a camera! I'm gonna get both of them."
But you guys think about this. There are billions of trees out there. What are the odds that some Elmer Fudd dude is going to stop on the side of a road, dirt road, and then walk exactly where we walk, where no one else walks?
Like there's no trail.
There's no trail, and finds this tree. No. The odds are absolutely remote. A quadrillion to one. It's like
the odds are way up there. Man.
Okay, it's like you putting up a camera and getting a bear rubbing his ass on a tree.
Yeah, right in front of your camera.
Right in front of your camera. That will never happen. The only way that will happen is if you know there is a family of bears in that area, and you're in a national freaking wildlife park and there's bears all over the place. Well, then you might get lucky. We're in the remote area of the wilderness of the forest where there are very seldom you'll see. Yeah,
There's
we know there are Bigfoots there.
Mm-hmm.
No question. And we
In
know
fact,
that we know
these two cameras were pretty far apart.
Well, they're on there. I mean, they were like on the same tree right there.
But they're
mounted.
looking at the jungle gym that the Bigfoots played on.
Right.
The jungle gym tree. So, like what was it we were saying was the Bigfoot babies. Are,
This okay. Now this is
Yeah.
our okay. Now let's continue to debunk.
oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So, did a hunter by accident happen to see these two cameras up there at the very top? And if there were two hunters, what did one get on the other guy's shoulders? The only problem is you couldn't reach him even if you got on each other's shoulder. All right. Did one go back all the way home and get a ladder and come all the way back for two stupid cameras? No, I wouldn't do that. No. So why did I put up the cameras in the first place? Because we know there are Bigfoots there. We know. For all those people who don't think we know, we know. And if you don't think we know, well then there's a little knob on your in your computer that says off and turn off. Then do it. We know that there are Bigfoots there. That is the reason why we place our cameras in certain locations.
Well, the last show last week, we showed you evidence what we got right there, like
Right. Yeah.
probably
As a-
maybe a half a mile from there,
Yeah, maybe even closer than that. Yeah.
maybe even closer. Yeah, quarter mile. Maybe.
As a matter of fact, the large tree log that was placed in the middle of the road was very close down the ways where this happened.
Right.
All right. Now, so
He's talking about the log that was long ways
Right.
on the top of the crown of the road that took 5 people to move out of the way.
Right.
And we don't know how it even got on the top of the crown of the road.
now, again, even Robert Scott, who was with us at the very beginning when he started going with us, is a total non-believer
it, yeah.
of Bigfoots at all until he heard the roars that he pretty much pooped in his pants
And
when
we,
he
and
heard
we
them.
have those recorded. You
Oh, yeah.
you could find those on the internet.
We got evidence, you guys. There's, I mean, we don't have to go back to that because
It was King Kong.
a lot of people last week emailed us and said, you guys are telling the story again. We're tired of this story. Go do other things. And I told you before we started to tell the story is that we have now a lot more listeners and watchers who have never heard the story thoroughly like we told it last week and showed all those pictures. A lot of people who know about the story had no clue about the trees in the road, had no clue about us testing the DNA.
True.
And we showed all that, and people were going, "Oh my God, that was one of the best shows that you guys have ever done." Why? Because we showed it.
I mean,
we
even
brought
showed-
it.
We showed Mickey doing his workup on the windows. I mean,
we brought it. I
Yeah.
even show you the windows. People were emailing Alan saying, "Oh my God, we saw how Jeffrey had the light and the actual face and shoulders
can
of
see
the tree.
it.
They can see it. They
Yeah.
can see it." All
They
right?
actually could see the face on the window when he was jockeying it around right
Trying
here.
to get a good
Because of the lights in the studio. We couldn't see it.
Well,
but they could see
actually,
it, you know.
I had this light right here shining right at it, and I was
Oh.
looking at the
So you
monitor.
could see it pretty
so,
good
So
in
yeah,
there?
so I was doing this and trying to get it perfectly, and then I would stop and I go, "Oh, that's a good shot right there," and that's why because I wanted you guys to see this stuff. So
They saw it.
good. Now this is the spot right close here is where we got the images of the windows. All right, the impressions on the windows. So right now we're trying to debunk this, guys. Who took my cameras that were 13 feet up in the? You guys, what's the height of a basketball court? Rim.
12 feet, something like that.
Is it 12 foot?
Something like that, isn't it?
Let's go back to my picture of me up in the sky. All right. Okay, there's me. I'm 6'2". All right, I'm showing you right now up. Okay, so if I were to put me down on the ground, if you see Robert,
So it's like 15 feet up, about.
oh, it's about 15 feet up because
Yeah.
look at Robert's knees are missing because that's how tall. So add another 2 feet. So add 6 and 6 and another 3 is about 15 foot. That's where the cameras were at, 15 feet high. All right. So no two people on shoulders could get up that high and remove them. Now, what I was doing is I was looking on the ground for any evidence of
sure.
of the actual screw that I screw into the tree, or maybe somebody got a big tree and tried to knock it off or whatever.
And like what somebody in chat said, like when I was a kid hunter, when I was a kid hunter, not when I was an adult hunter, but a kid hunter, I would have shot them things right off the tree.
Oh, okay.
You know, but only you would have found the debris.
Oh, fun. And
I would have shot both of them off the tree just for the fun of it, but only
and then you would have saw
that was when I was a kid hunter.
and you would have saw the bullet holes on the tree.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have left no bullet hole, but you would have seen the bullet hole in the camera on the ground.
Oh, there you go.
You know, for sure.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't miss the camera.
We
Are you
didn't find
kidding?
any evidence of any camera at all.
Nope.
Okay. Now, so, we're trying to debunk this guy, seriously. Now, Alan was down at the very bottom. He couldn't climb up there.
Climb the hill.
He couldn't climb the hill, so he stood there at the pickup. And Robert and I said, man, let's go. I just lost 2 cameras with 2 SD cards. I was so pissed, guys, because I was looking forward to downloading these SD cards. They've been up there for more than a year, for longer than a year. And
We were talking about it on the way up.
Oh,
like,
I'm going. I know
we're
we're
going to
gonna
have thousands of pictures.
We're
and
gonna have something on there.
It's
We're
going to
gonna
be
have
the
something.
jungle gym of the Bigfoot. So we know that they're climbing in this tree. We
Yes.
know it for a fact.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can't prove it until we
Well,
bring pictures. But
right,
only
right.
the Bigfoot made sure we didn't have the pictures.
And
Yeah.
so there you go. We went up to grab my 2 cameras, and they are missing. That were placed 15 foot up high. They're gone. Now I'm going. I don't like to come out and say what I think, but I do.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a hunter who took those cameras. I don't think it was a bear who took those cameras. I don't think it was a human being who took those cameras. I think it was a large, very tall Bigfoot that
Yeah.
took those cameras.
I mean,
now,
we
why?
We have a picture of at least a 12-footer.
Right.
Not far from there.
Right. A Bigfoot.
Yeah.
We have that. And I've showed that to you guys before, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to show it to you guys again.
The one I saw was 10 foot or better, and he could have reached that easily. I mean, that would have been almost eye level to him.
Right.
I mean, and all he had to do, I mean, even though that was a big screw that went in there, all he had to do was just grab it and go like that, because he could rip that tree right out of the ground right there. I mean,
Right.
no sweat. The Bigfoot could rip the tree out. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I'm going to say
He was
right
a
now.
hungry Bigfoot. He likes cameras.
I'm going to say right now that a Bigfoot. Now, you guys, there's some guys out there who don't believe in Bigfoot, and there are trolls out there who are trolling us who can't stand it that things like this happen to us. They can't stand this. There was a troll on chat last week who really said some obscene stuff to my wife, and a lot of people on the chat were really upset at this guy.
See, now they're talking about in the chat. One of the guy, pairs are normal Mark. Okay, good name, by the way. He's talking about remember when we were at Felton, California, and these 2 guys came with the tape, with a YouTube video, and they got stuck.
Oh, the boat thing.
And they were in the boat.
Right.
We were like the first ones to hear that video.
Yes.
And the guy brought it to us, and we sat in a restaurant and we watched that video like 5 times, and it was Bigfoot yelling. We've now recorded 3 different Bigfoot recordings in 2 different areas, like one at the Thule Res and one at our area.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same exact yells as you hear on that guy's video. I think, what's the guy's name? Tony
Pliska?
Pliska?
Yeah, something like that. I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're still friends with him. It was an awesome sound that guy got.
And we got the exact same sound.
Exact.
But one was even closer. I recorded it,
Yeah.
but it is not the same as if you were there. The first roar that we got.
First one. The
Danny,
King Kong.
Yes, the King Kong one. Danny, Robert, you and myself were there when that happened. That made Robert Scott a believer that day.
Yeah.
Because he dropped some F-bombs in the process. And it was something that I will never forget ever in my life. It sounded like King Kong was coming through the trees and letting us know it was coming to get us. I mean, it was unbelievable, you guys.
When I was leaving.
It was unbelievable. we get stuff. Sorry for those people who hate us because we do, but we do because we have located the spot where they're at. Simple as that. All right. And now things are happening to us. Like my cameras are going missing that have been placed 15 feet up in the sky. Is somebody going to tell me it was a hunter who took those cameras?
Well, I'm hoping that the Bigfoot gifts it back. Because we leave gifts.
Robert even said, and let's talk about the gifts. Now, before we leave, I was still pissed off. I can care less about the cameras, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was the SD cards that I was upset about, guys, because I knew that, oh my God, there was something good on those SD cards that I wanted them. I wanted to show you guys that stuff today. Damn it. It didn't happen because they're missing. Before I left the house, I decided to take some offerings, which we do when we go up there, and we leave them offerings. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to show you.
Oh, did you bring pictures? Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely. All right. So we give offerings, guys. All right. I took my wife. Sometimes when I go to Vaughn's to get the grocery shopping, we try to get as much stuff as we can with organic. We try, especially for the kids. And at the time, I didn't see an organic apple, so I grabbed the regular apples and grabbed regular fruit and grapes and stuff. And she got upset at me, and so they're there in the refrigerator just sitting there. So I grab those and I take them up, which you see here, the grapes and the apples, and I grabbed a Campbell soup, some pineapple, some apples, obviously, and some Spam. Hopefully he likes Spam. And some organic green beans back there, and some granola bars. And we leave that. And before we go,
and we always leave it in the same spot.
on this spot here. This is where we left the day after, or when we picked up my vehicle truck that had the impressions of the windows. The banana leaves that we showed. This is the same stump. I always like to eat the food and really make them. I yell. I said, "Hey!" I make myself present, and I scream sometimes, and I take a bite of the apple, which you see at the very top, and I'll get some grapes. I'll eat it, and I'll get some pineapple, and I didn't take any Spam. Hey, I left that there. Green beans. I put in my mouth, and I do that to show them that it's okay for me to eat. It's okay for them to eat. It's not like I'm trying to leave poison or anything.
Right? Actually, that works. We know
right
from trial and error. We know, like, if you don't at first show them that it's good, they don't even touch it. Right. But if you show them that you're eating it, and then you walk away, they'll go over and eat it because they know you're not going to eat anything that's going to hurt them.
Right.
I mean, these guys are smart.
They're smart. Oh yeah.
And they're not going to bust up. Sometimes they do bust up cameras, but we find the bust up camera. You know what I mean?
Right. Or if it was a bear, you'll know it was a bear because
right.
it's ripped and you see the bite marks on there.
Yeah, and you get the SD card and you could see what busted up your camera.
Right.
If it's a Bigfoot that busted up, you won't see anything, just a busted up camera. That's all.
Right.
The bear will get himself in the camera, but a Bigfoot doesn't. He does not get in the camera. Right. They're very
smart.
rare.
Yeah,
they're very rare. We get them on a camera.
Very, very smart. So that was our little trip. Something else happened, but we're not going to talk about it because we have no proof. So there you go.
Yeah.
But this was, sometimes we actually, okay, to be honest, to be totally honest, you guys, seriously, things tend to happen almost every time we go.
Right, yeah, almost.
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple times. I remember the night we went one night.
We got shut out. Shut out.
The gates are locked. We can't go. But I remember one time, I think it was the last year, we all went at nighttime. And it was so dusty, so dry. And we heard millions of crickets. I have never heard a cricket ever since I've been up there. And all of a sudden, I heard these millions of crickets. I thought to myself, this is going to be an uneventful day.
And it was.
And we said, let's get the hell out of here.
It was the very first time. I think that was. Your hopes get up a little bit because
and you know what? I had bought my my Fleur.
Right, we had all that new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to use it. Unfortunately, wah, wah, wah.
And then we go up there and you're not expecting anything, and there's like a area where we all can meet at the top of the hill, and then we go down and I call it the land of the lost.
Fail.
But we'll stop at the top, and then I'll do whistling, and usually that's where everybody goes to the bathroom or leaves their self and everything, and we get things thrown at us. We can hear them screaming and hooting and hollering down in there. So sometimes we know before we even get in the area down in there that we already know they're there.
And it's going to be an exciting, eventful.
And we started out like that, and then go down there, and then they start off with like an owl sound circling us, owl. Then it turns into a monkey, and
you know,
and
I
big
have that.
hard steps.
I have that on here. I have that on here. The owl sounds. Maybe I'll pull those up in a little bit. Maybe the monkey ones.
It's interesting. It was interesting.
I think Danny let his father-in-law hear that sound, and he says, "What are all the monkeys doing up there?"
Right.
Like that. And like, whoa, really? He heard, they sounded like monkeys.
They did sound like monkeys, like chimps.
Yeah.
Is exactly what they sound like, chimps.
You guys want to hear that? I have it recorded on my iPhone. In a little bit, I'll see if I can find it, and I'll pull it up so you guys can hear it. Because it's been a long time since I've actually played that.
I never feel, like in chat, I never feel safe in the car. After seeing one.
Now, remember, sorry to stop you. Remember we were driving out at nighttime, and you heard something talking right on the outside of that window.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't tell me, but you scared the shit out of you.
Yep.
And the window was down, wasn't it?
Yep. It was right next to the truck. And it freaked me out because we were actually spotlighting, and I think it was getting ticked off because we hit it with a spotlight, but we didn't see it. And man, that thing.
Now, remember when we were moving the headlights and we saw this big ass cow up there? That freaked everybody out because there's cows that roam up there. What do you call those cows?
Free range.
Free range. There you go. Big healthy cows. Oh my god!
And usually the cow's eyes are like the same size as the Bigfoot ones. It could trick you.
We all just freaked out because we saw these things looking right at us, and then I think Robert Scott was right there. It freaked him out big time. And I don't know if Danny was with us too, but I think we all freaked out. But it was a good freak out.
That's actually a good trick for all you guys that go out at night, and after you're done doing your squatching and collecting evidence, and you're going home, bust out the spotlights, because all the eyes, even Bigfoot eyes, reflect back from a spotlight. So if you're driving along, and you're spotting, you might see a lot more game and stuff, and even Bigfoot, as you're driving out. You'll see all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
You imagine hearing something like that. What did you hear?
I heard talking.
You were talking, huh?
Yeah. It was like a voice, like a human.
You didn't tell us that until on the way down, or
because I didn't want you to stop.
I would have stopped.
Yeah, I know you would have, and you would have backed up, and I don't want none of that, man. I kept my mouth shut until we were like way up the way, too far for them to turn around.
You know what I say for that?
You're fired. You're fired.
Yeah, I guess I will not feel what Alan feels until I finally see one.
Right.
Until I get it. Right now, I don't get it. I sort of kind of get it, but until I see one for my own self, I will finally get it. Then I will understand why he is terrified of one coming up on us. And right, like I said, right, and Robert Scott doesn't get it. Danny, at this point, doesn't get it. We don't get it. And I hope to get it one of these days. I do.
all it takes is one glimpse. It'll change your life.
Yeah, and
I swear to that.
And right now, with the evidence that we have in our possession, I believe in Bigfoot. All right, I do, with all my heart. I believe there is a creature up there, even down here, and I believe they exist with the evidence that we have. All right. And
that's just Jeff playing with his iPhone. It is a recording of something.
Oh yeah.
But it's not a Bigfoot.
No, it's not a Bigfoot. Are you kidding me? So it would be famous that we got something like that. But no, we got screams, not as quiet as I have an app on my cell phone, you guys, and I can, do things.
You're
like,
fired.
or a gorilla. Okay, or a bear.
I've been getting emails and messages about people hearing whispers.
Okay,
and
I
stuff.
do have now. When Heidi does her gig on our show, sometimes I'll play this.
Yeah.
And I did that very faintly the first time, and I don't know, about 2 weeks ago, and people were email me, and they were telling me, stop it at 2 hours and 46 minutes. Somebody's whispering, and I went, oh no, because I actually hit that one by accident, you guys. But I do, I add special sound effects, and I think it adds to the show when it's appropriately timed correctly. Then I'll do
I think
it.
there's one there. If you go to Google, we have one that's not very long on.
Do you want me to find that?
Well, I got it all condensed down.
But no, I'm talking about the monkeys, the owls.
No, this one's the one at from Thule, and I have it all condensed, right?
Okay. Well, I can go to Facebook and pull you up, and then
Okay.
and then play it.
Yeah, because I took this is like 2 hours. It was 2 hours long, right? And
Okay, hold on.
we went up to Thule Reservation, and they never heard anything up there before like this. And Jeff, we were getting ready to unload and everything. I mean, we just barely got there, and Jeff does a wood knock, and then we start getting responses, and it was a few responses over a 2 hour period, and all I did was just cut out all the in between nothings where there was no Bigfoot activity, and I just put the Bigfoot activity one after the other, and you can hear it even with just your speakers. You don't need it, to put your headphones on. If you have headphones,
But
you could.
I can't do it here. Let me do it on here. Okay. Hold on.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. That way everybody can hear the volume, even Art Bell. So let's do that. Hold on.
Right. Yeah.
Can't
But-
leave you guys out, man. I'm gonna bring you into. Trust me.
And when we were at Thule, why I was saying that I think they'll gift the camera back to us if we gift right. We even got a gift when we were at Thule. They gifted a key to us, a master lock.
Oh, well, actually,
key.
that was given to Christina.
It was giving to Christina. But I mean, what I mean is like we didn't find the cameras. It means that they took them, and maybe if we're lucky, maybe we'll get them back gifted to us. If we're on their good side. No more trees blocking the road and all that kind of stuff. Right. I took these, and then what you'll notice, like if you take the video, what you're going to hear right now, and listen to it, what you're hearing, and then you go back later and listen to the one we were talking about earlier, where they were stuck, and the Bigfoot screamed all night at them.
You remember what day this was?
No.
I just you know what? I shared it onto my wall. So let me go down to my wall. I'll find it. Hold on.
I don't know. All I know is you can still hear us talking. You have to understand that it was 2 hours. This thing was recording for 2 hours. You don't know when they're going to make a noise. So we'll sit there real quiet listening for 10 minutes. And it seemed like every time that we started to speak or talk, then that's whenever they would start making noise. And we're like, oh, did you hear that? And then we would shut up again and wait.
All right, here we go, guys.
That was another one, huh?
Okay, I'm gonna crank it.
That was another one, huh?
All right.
That was another one, huh? Did you hear that?
I heard that.
I heard that too.
What did you hear?
Again. What? Whoa. You heard that.
All the way through dark. That was loud.
That was way back over there.
Okay.
But
You guys-
that's all 2 hours condensed down to that long.
Did you guys hear that? All right. So that was at the Thule Reservation, and Christina did poop in her pants after hearing that.
Yeah.
Because that is the first time they have ever heard anything like that at all. And take a drink, Christina, right now. Let me, go ahead. I'm gonna pull up those owls. Let me see if I can find those owls, because I think that's those actually came out really good.
See now the owl thing. I have a friend that's like an animal behaviorist person, biologist, and they said, "Oh, that's a barred owl." That's what they said, right?
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, and this is where we were
Okay.
geographically, and they said, "Oh, well, barred owls don't live around here at all."
Is this okay? So it was 2014. Was it last year,
I think so, yeah.
or the 2 years ago? No, I think it was 2013. What do you think?
I don't know.
So what was Memorial Day? What month was Memorial Day?
I don't even think it was was it Memorial Day?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is that March?
May.
May? Okay.
Only he said there's no barred owls around here. But then, while we're talking about it and we're listening to it, he's like, a barred owl. Then he's like, wait a minute, barred owls, they mix up the sounds. They don't do it like the same one over and over. And they don't go around you. They don't circle you for 2 hours. And then they don't turn into a chimp later. I mean, all of a sudden they turn into a chimp sound.
Shoot, where is it?
And chased Robert Scott all over the place, right? I mean, he was like not afraid of him. He's like, I'm gonna go play my guitar and go over here, and he goes out there, and we could see his headlamp, but he gets out there like, I don't know, about 75 yards, and then you hear this monkey coming for him, right, going towards him. Next thing you know, you see the headlamp coming right back, like bouncing right back to us. He never left the group again, but it was pretty fun.
All right, where is I'm trying to locate. I have 2 apps on my phone that have the iRig recorder. One I just hit and it wasn't on that one. You know what? Maybe it's this one here. Let me. All right.
I know we have so many audio recordings. It's
but
really
this is only 3 seconds on this one, so that can't be it.
Can't be it.
No.
The only thing about that one is that you have is that it has I can't remember her name, but she's doing.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeffrey from Paranormal Central. Al? I don't think so. Okay. No, I think it was 2013.
But they were doing the hollering or the calls. It was loud, but we weren't getting any calls back. They continued to call us in owl talk for a long time.
Yeah, buddy, that was crazy.
And you ever hear a 700 or 800 pound owl? That's what it sounded like.
Right. All right. I'm going to. I have to pull up another app, and I'm going to go ahead and do that while we're talking. But all right. So I'm waiting for Joni to contact me, and I sent a message on her Facebook, and she's not answering me. So I don't know because I know I almost said his name. Her brother really did not want to come on and talk about this, and maybe she changed her mind. I'm hoping
Probably.
that's not the case. And I don't know why, because I helped her. She got rid of whatever was there by, repeating what I told her to say. it helped her. So I mean,
You know, somebody was asking in chat, what do you say? You say, in Jesus' name, get the heck out of
well,
here.
okay, let's go ahead
And it works.
let's go ahead and tell people what you say. I was getting people asking me, and I just never said it. For those people who don't want to hear this religion stuff, lower the volume right now, because we're going to talk about that, and we're going to say the word Jesus in a couple of sentences here. And if you just don't like it, and if you don't believe it, then turn your volume down.
And we're not trying to push religion down your throat.
No, we're not.
We're just telling you something that works.
Yes.
And maybe one day you might need it. When you have that shadow choking you out on your bed and you can't say anything, all you could do is just think the name Jesus. All you have to do is think it, and it'll go away too. This is from talking to a lot of people. It works every single time. Every single time.
Yeah, it does. Well, go ahead. You go ahead and tell people what to say, and now I'm gonna look for this.
All you say is, in Jesus' name, get the heck out of here.
Well,
it's that easy.
I tell them to say it differently. I command you in the name of Jesus to leave this property.
Right.
And property line.
Right.
No, explain to them. Tell them the whole thing.
That is, well, that's what I do. Like I've actually had made people leave my house that were raging inside my house. Like raging mad, and all I did was I said, in Jesus' name, my anger, rage, jealousy, all these things like that. From property, you have to get off my property from property line to property line in Jesus' name. 2 minutes later, the person was running out the front door and then pacing back and forth on the curb, yelling at us to come out and fight like a man out at the curb. And I've done it twice at my house. I've done it a bunch of times for other people at other people's houses, and then I've even told people, and like when somebody on here questioned, like, do you have to believe in Jesus? No. His name is the power. His name is the power. So you don't have to believe in him. And then one day, only, if you use it and it works and you don't believe in him, something's wrong. Because there has to be something to it if it works, right? Seriously. So one day, like if you don't believe in him and you use his name all the time, and then one day you go to the other side, or the next life or realm or whatever you want to call it after this life, and you're standing there in front of him, and he's like, hey, what's up? And you're like, what's up? I know you, I use your name and I cast out demons and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't know you. Because you didn't believe in him and you didn't, have a relationship with him. But I'm not saying, trying to be preachy or anything. I'm just saying that works. It works. It works for everyone. Whatever faith you are, whatever, his name is the power. It isn't you. It isn't somebody's power. It's his name is the power. And it works really well.
I have said that to a lot of people over the phone, you guys. And they would call me back 3 days later, 4 days later, and tell me everything has stopped. It worked. And they are so appreciative, it's not even funny, because they've been on the internet, they've been trying to contact somebody who could help them. They have tried everything. And here I just give them a couple of sentences on how to say it. And they do. And they come back a couple of days later and they call me. And they're, thank you. We've lived with this thing for so many years. It has terrorized our family. And I said what you told me to say, and I said it the way, and it worked.
My favoriteest one is the guy called me up, we actually went to his house, though, and, helped him out. And my favoriteest one is this guy, and he called me 2.5 weeks later, and he said that for 2 weeks his house had this really cool vibe. And then he said also for 3 days it smelled like roses inside his house. and then they had no more trouble at all.
I will always remember the look his son gave us
Yeah.
when he walked around his car, got on his car, and drove away. The evil, the way he was looking at us, it scared me. It gave me goosebumps because I knew the way he was smirking at us.
Mhm.
I'm looking at his face right now. I'm looking at his face right now.
Yeah, you can see it in your mind's eye.
I can see it right now. I can see him.
Well, he looked like he was going to kill us, but in the house, when we were in the house, the sad part is it was attached to him.
He lost his son.
Yeah, the guy lost his son. His son had to move out. It was because it was attached to him. It can't stay in the house because you just kicked it out. If the kid decides that he doesn't want to unattach himself to that, then the kid goes too with it. That's one of the bad side things of it. And then we knew it was, you go, how do you know it was attached to him? Because when you start using this name, the kid falls on the ground and starts acting sick and holding his stomach and rolling around and moaning and groaning on the ground and acting like he's going to die. And every time you say that name, the kid starts moaning and rolling around some more, and it was like, oh, man, I had to tell his dad, that it was attached to the kid. And we kind of knew that because we went in with our ghost hunting tools, right? The MK, oh my gosh, the EMF, EMF and
detector,
stuff like that.
yeah.
And we actually went in the room we were looking for it. Where is this thing in the house? I mean, because that stuff works too. So we took the EMF detector and we were going around, and then we found out in his bedroom, we had it on the bed, and we were actually getting the EMF detector to react to, say, are you in here? And then the EMF detector would go off. And it was like, wow, we found the bedroom and everything. So we kind of were getting a clue that it was in the kid's room, that kid's room.
I don't have it anymore, I don't think.
That's okay.
No, it's not, because that was... Did we download it someplace?
Yeah, I have it on my computer.
Okay.
On a backup.
Hold on. What computer? At home?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I got a couple things here. I just don't know if...
Yeah, it was sad.
Alright, let's try this one.
Why me? That is for you.
I don't know what that was.
Historian once said, a great civilization is not conquered from without.
Don't know what that is. I'm trying to find it here on my iPhone, guys. Sorry. Because I really want
Hello, everyone. This is
Jim.
Jim.
Yeah, whatever.
Alan and I-
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Nope, you're going to have to find it on yours. I just don't know what happened to it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
He has a lot of stuff on his iPhone.
Well, yeah, you know what? There was 2 apps on here, and the old app disappeared, and that's where it was on. It was on the old app, and
Luckily, we backed that up.
Man, okay, so you'll have to find that and bring it up. All right. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm still waiting for Joni. God, I hope she doesn't change her mind, because if she doesn't come back...
there's no Danny, you guys.
No.
Danny, we said it earlier. Danny is on vacation, and he can't do his report tonight. No Danny.
He's in,
but we will have a Heidi.
Yeah. He's in Nashville, Tennessee. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Throughout the week, I'm on Facebook, and there's a lot of things happening out there. A lot of things that's going on. And what I like to do, if there's some cool stuff to talk about, especially going through Facebook, then I'll save it and I'll put it over on the desktop. And if it's a picture and something I can show you and or talk about it, we'll do it. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my desktop and then look at the stuff that I have here. And all right, let's... okay, interesting. When did this happen? This happened on Monday, Thursday. Last week, the Oregon shooting at the school, at the what that
The one where
college.
they were showing the Sandy Hook.
Right. Okay. Now, if you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys know where I stand on my values when it comes to protecting myself and my family with what has been given to us in the Constitution. You guys understand that I believe in the Second Amendment. You guys, probably all by now know that I'm a true believer in God. I was brought up in the Catholic faith, and to this day I still believe in that. And the Second Amendment is a big thing for me, and because there are a lot of people out there who don't like, and I'm not going to get political on you guys. I'm not. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because there has been a lot of talk on the media, and all you guys have to be watching and listening to this stuff about all these mass shootings. And even Alan was bringing this up, that these mass shootings have been going on for a long time. It's just that our media is really, really talking up about them. And why not? I'm not going to criticize the media. That's what they do. That's their job. When something happens that's very, important, that needs to be, you need to know about, then the media hopefully will tell you, if something good happens or if something bad happens. That's their job, is to tell you. But sometimes they're not really telling you what you're supposed to be knowing about. And let's go back to the Sandy Hook shootings. Okay, we're talking about the Sandy Hook shootings because what we talk about here is everything not normal. And conspiracy is part of that, I believe.
Sure. It's like paranormal.
Yeah, it's not normal. Now, you guys are probably going, what do you mean? Kids got killed at the Sandy Hook shooting. What's so paranormal about that? Well, it's the after effect, the aftermath, the things that happened afterwards that didn't quite make sense to me.
And it's how it happened. Like, I think the shooter is a Montauk person or something like that.
Well, let's talk about that. Have you guys ever pulled up, and there are many of these pictures, people have actually collected the people who have done all these, and I'm not going to say all, but recent mass shootings. Like, for example, the first one that comes to mind is the theater shooting. And then you have the high school shooting
in Colorado.
Thank you. Yeah. And then you have, the Sandy Hook.
Yep.
And then you have the Oregon one. Just go and look at all four of those guys. They were all young, in, I want to say, upper teens, lower 20s. Look at them. Look at their facial features on them, the way they're smiling, the way they're looking at you.
And their eyes are all bugged out.
Okay. All these guys that were involved, that took place, the shooters were all under medication. Every single one of them, even the Oregon one.
I don't think they were on medication so much as they've been brainwashed.
Well, okay, but
they're Montauk kids.
Well,
or whatever.
I think that in order to be, you're saying brainwashed, you're saying mind controlled.
Yeah.
They have to be under some type of medication, I think.
Maybe, or they do,
maybe they were under medication because they were.
Maybe when they were mind controlling them, they used it.
They have to. They were seeing a certain doctor, but anyways, these guys are not normal.
No, they're like Pavlov's dog
they're not
or whatever.
Normal guys.
You put the food out there and the dog started drooling.
And again,
they just make the call and this dude starts shooting.
I am not trying to push gun control or talk about guns on this. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, MK Ultra.
I'm saying these guys are weird looking. They're not normal people, normal kids. All right, they're not. Okay, so let's continue on with that. Let's talk about the Sandy Hook shooting for one thing. When the Sandy Hook shooting happened, it was winter. It was cold, and that will come up later when I talk about the Oregon shooting. But I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on the Sandy Hook and why I think something's not right. Okay? When a massive shooting occurs, especially at a school, it will be broadcasted to the authorities as a major incident, high priority. Roll everything you got to this location because there are children involved. All right? The Sandy Hook shooting, 20-something kids perished, supposedly. Now, if you go back to Columbine and you notice the equipment that rolled on this particular incident was unfreaking believable. Every single patrol car, every single ambulance, they had 3 helicopters, 4 helicopters on the grass on standby to transport these kids. I think Columbine did happen. Okay, that did happen because everything added up. It was a whacked out kid that went on a rampage. Sandy Hook, on the other hand, when the all call went out, everybody was supposedly been dispatched, okay? I mean, we're talking authority, police, fire. Not a single helicopter was dispatched to this location. Not a single one. Also, if you were to go and Google the Sandy Hook, during the same day, not too far down the street, they were having a drill that on a massive shooting incident on a school. So all this equipment was already on standby somewhere else. What also caught my attention is I believe the coroner was not dispatched. Now, do you guys realize that particular wing of the school was demolished and it was rebuilt?
Really?
Yes.
For what?
Now, what didn't happen prior to that has really got me puzzled. When there is a massive shooting like this, especially, and I hate to, kids are involved. I don't care if there was adults in there. I don't care if there were teenagers in there that were shot. There is blood everywhere. That is very hazardous. That is. You need to get hazmat in there. The special people. There are companies that are dispatched to clean up hazardous material. Blood is considered hazardous. It is. It's a fact. All right? If there is blood everywhere, you're not going to touch that blood. I don't care if it's from an elderly woman, a teenage person, or even a small child. If there's blood everywhere, you're going to have someone who is trained to come in and to clean it. Before they demolished that wing, they did not have hazmat come in and clean any of that blood. They just demolished it. Take all that wood away and start building a new wing. They did not allow anybody to go in there to look, to see, there were no pictures that come out of that. What blew me away is they just completely knocked down the wing and rebuilt it. They did. That's a fact. Go look it up.
That's weird.
All right? Like they didn't want to show any type of evidence of something maybe that didn't happen. Now, there are rumors, and I have seen something that, people really go in and they dig deep. Now, I'm going to tell you what I have seen, and I don't know if it's a fact. If you can go and tell me, Jeff, you're right, this is what's out there, it's a fact, then please tell me, because I don't have the time to go do this. But they were saying that the parents of all the deceased children that died that day were all given homes, brand new homes. I don't want to say a year prior or sometime prior to the incident. There's something not right about the Sandy Hook thing, you guys. Absolutely not right. And it that has always been on the just something where something doesn't feel right. I believe
that's how I am with 9/11.
Okay. Yeah, you know,
9/11 is like something. When Building 7 went down, it was like, huh?
Well, you know, and this is where I'm going to come in with 9/11. And this is what I thought. And again, back in 2001 when 9/11 happened, I was not into all of this conspiracy stuff. I was into the monsters and the Bigfoots and the UFOs. I wasn't into that stuff, but the conspiracy stuff, no. You know, when the towers came down, I thought, oh my God, we're being hit by terrorists. Because I remember when the bomb in the van blew up underneath the World Trade Center in the 90s. I remember that.
I remember that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I figured, man, we're getting hit. We are getting hit. All right. And then, you know, the other building 7 that went down. This is what I thought. Now, when you have how many hundreds of floors each of those twin towers were, right? When they collapse, let's just say one building collapses, everything at the very bottom comes out. I mean, we're talking everything. Cement and whatever is in its way. If you're standing there, you're going to be belligerent. I mean, you're done.
Yeah, you're toast.
Toast. Yeah. I don't care if there's a car there. I don't care if there's a truck there. It will be totally gone, ashes, because of all that weight coming. It would. I mean, they will never find you. So I thought to myself, with all the weight coming down and everything coming up like this, it knocked that building at the very bottom, made it weak for it to collapse, because it was right next to the buildings, and that's what my theory was, that all of that debris just cut it at the very bottom, cut it in half, or not cut it at the half, cut it at the very bottom, sliced it to where it lost its structure
support,
and it came down.
Wow,
that's what I think happened. But many people are saying, no way, Jose. There's video of the actual building close up to the windows, where you actually could see it going pow, 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 all the way around. And what I'm doing is trying to mock up like explosions, like them trying to pow, pow, pow. Now, the day before, I remember. What's his face? The Secretary of State, not Cheney, Rumsfeld. He came out and said there was how many trillions of dollars missing?
Like 20-something trillion
of dollars that were missing from the government, and we can't find it.
And all the records was in that building.
All the records were in that building 7. What are the odds, guys? Seriously. Go look that up. Rumsfeld, the day before, I swear to God, the day before came out and said, we're missing, I don't know, 17 trillion, $20 trillion, and we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to it. And then, but all of the records are in Building 7. The following day, 9/11 happens, and all of Building 7 gone. Is that a coincidence, guys? Is that a coincidence? Remember, I've told you there are no coincidences in paranormal or conspiracy theories if you can add up all of the evidence. Now, I thought, and it's out there too, that we had to go to Iraq for a specific reason. And I think we've talked about this on here.
Yeah.
That in Iraq is the older parts, the ruins there tell us our history of where we believe we've come from. Nephilim, Planet X, maybe Nibiru, Stargates. I have been told that the reason why we went to Iraq was to get the Stargates before Saddam got them. Because if the one who can get the Stargate is the winner. What you can do with the Stargate, who knows what you can do with the Stargate? I heard that theory.
Remember now, we had Andy, and he said they've been messing with them things for a long time.
A long time.
So they were going to get that one too, you know.
And that's right. But Bishago said that, right?
Yeah.
And he even mentioned about going into Iraq, and that's the reason why 9/11 occurred. So there are many, many stories out there, guys. But they can also combine all of the reasons that we've talked about into one scenario that allows them to cover up what happened to the $20 trillion and to go into Iraq.
Man, that's a lot of money, and that
You know-
we really should be asking questions still about that.
Well, that money, I believe, has been used for black projects.
yeah, it probably is like all the clones and the
Who-
cloning dumbs and all that stuff.
Okay, I'm not
Deep
going there.
underground bases.
Yeah, a deep underground bases, abso-freaking-lutely. That I can say yes. Oh, I got a message. Hold on.
It's Heidi. Heidi might be ready.
It's Joni.
Oh.
Jeff went to 5:30 mass, and then the priest asked me to help. The light take could say no. I am sorry. Can we reschedule? Oh crap. Hold on. We are on till 9 o'clock tonight.
I think Heidi might be ready though. She's in chat or was.
If
It would be cool. Maybe we could take some
If
other people's
you
stories.
still
Because I
want-
like hearing other people's stories too. Heidi is ready. Yay.
we are
Heidi has some
on-
good stuff too. I saw it
Yeah.
in the email.
Hold on. I'm talking to Joni right now. She's Catholic. Joni is Catholic. Okay. And
talk to her. I'll talk to Heidi. Hi, Heidi.
So I just we are on till 9 o'clock p.m. if you still want to come on. So hopefully she'll answer me back. So anyway, that's where. Okay, now let's go back to the Sandy Hook thing. The reason why I'm bringing all this up is that Channel 5 News. I think
Hi, Danny.
I think out of Florida. We're talking about the Oregon shooting, and okay, Joni's responding back to me. Hold on, and she's typing in, and they put out this video, and what I'm going to show you right now on the screen is it's the Sandy sign. Okay, and then I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go there.
How many books have you written, Heidi? You can put it in chat. I think it's like 4, isn't it?
Okay. Now, if you notice right now, for all those who are at the artbell.com, it was it's something that I decided to start talking about. But there's the news at 5, and I think it's out of Florida. I'm not sure where, but they're talking about the Oregon shooter, right? And here you can say the shooter identified as Chris Harper Mercer. That's the guy's name. But if you look at the sign, it has Sandy Hook School on there.
Yeah.
All right. So
why are they doing that?
Well, is it because they just don't have footage?
Oh.
And again, I am trying to debunk this. I'm trying to be.
I think that's subliminal. I think it's subliminal. I think that they already, everybody already is like scared of that one, so they put that up there to just get that fear factor going. The news sucks.
Okay, Joni has to take his son over to school. I guess there's no school in L.A. tomorrow, Columbus Day.
Wow, so that'll be 10, 6 published, 4 ready to go. So 10.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, so Joni can't make it tonight, so we will have her on next week, guys. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Now, I'm showing you a picture of News at 5 doing a report on the Oregon shooter, but showing the aftermath or the police arriving at the location of Sandy Hook. Oops. Now, could they just have wanted to do a story and grab footage to make it look good? Yeah, that's a great possibility. They even used some other stuff here. I'm going to show you real quick. They used this particular picture as well, and I'm going to tell you right now that it's not. This is the Sandy Hook footage as well. How do I know this? The cops are in jackets, and I think I was looking at another spot, and I'm going to look at this real fast here. I'm going to show you, not that one, but here There's a police officer running, and in the background there's snow. All right, and in Sandy
There's no
Hook-
snow in Oregon
No,
right
there
now.
there isn't. Okay, so this is also part of the Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
So they got busted, and now, again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. You know, I'm right away. You know, I don't take everything as conspiracy, but I do sometimes. I have to admit I do. But could it be that this particular news, network was just trying to put a story together and they went and grabbed old footage from Sandy Hook? Yes. So what I'm trying to say is, don't believe everything you see in the media. All right? Just don't. Because this is telling you right now, they're showing you footage of another situation that happened that's not part of that incident. Now, going back to the 9/11, I remember people saying that there's also footage that there was a reporter, which I think it was just, the timing was just not right. I don't think it's true, but there's a reporter who was reporting in front of the Twin Towers as they are on fire, say that, or I think they were already down, and says something to the fact that, Building 7 has collapsed, but over her shoulder, the Building 7 is still standing.
I saw that one.
And the Building 7 is still standing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that one on the very day that when they were doing the Twin Towers. That was the news I was watching.
So you saw her say Building 7
and
has
I was
gone down.
I was yelling at my wife, going, "Look, it's still behind her. It's still standing. It's still standing." And all of a sudden, they cut it off. They cut off the video on CNN, and not only that, but only the reporter that went to that reporter girl. He was saying, "We're going to whatever this lady because Building 7's down, and she's going to tell about it, right?"
Right.
And then when they went to the thing, it was still there, and I'm like yelling at my wife, like, "Look, it's still up."
How
It's
do you
still
know
up."
what Building 7 looked like, though?
Because they were already talking about it. It was on fire. There was some floors on fire, and I'm like, they're talking about this fire inside the FBI building, in this one section.
Right. And that's Building 7.
Right. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have known.
I was watching the whole thing. I sat there all day.
Oh yeah, I did
watching
too.
that,
Matter of fact, it was my O day. I was not working. At the time I was at my parents' house because I moved back from LA.
My wife was like, didn't understand what I was saying.
Uh-huh.
But then later when they showed it falling, I go, "There it goes. Now look." Right. How did she know 20 minutes before? It was like 20 minutes. That's about how long. 20 minutes before the thing fell, she was reporting it was falling or fell already. And I caught that. Before 9/11, not 10 cents or whatever you want to call it,
Right. That's like
or
ooh.
Chump Change, whatever that movie is. Chump Change, is that what they call it?
Okay, well, conspiracies, people can play a video, but you saw it live. If you're saying you saw it live, then I can't doubt you. I can't say anything going against you because you say you saw it live.
I really tripped whenever that movie came out, Chump Change. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
Some spare change.
Oh, spare change. Did you say that?
Yeah, Heidi's ready.
Heidi, okay, all right. Let's call her.
When that came out, and then they showed the dude that owned everything, and he was saying, "Yeah, and I gave the command. It was on fire, and I gave the command to just pull it." And I didn't even know what pull it meant.
I heard that too. Pull it.
And pull it means knock the building down. But I know, like, I if you watch Las Vegas, like I used to be a casino guy. If you watch Las Vegas hotels when they knock those down, and then you look at Building 7 going down, they look identical. You can't tell the difference between a Las Vegas hotel.
Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
How's it
Doing
going?
good.
Heidi the book writer. Man, Heidi. I didn't know that many books.
Man, we have a police officer that was sort of kind of had a sighting that needs to write a book, man. And he needs a ghostwriter really bad.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I always thought about doing that ghostwriting type of thing. So I actually been contacted by a few people, but no one's followed through. But hey, I'm game.
How? But you're way over there, and he's way over here. How do you make that work?
Skype.
Hey.
Oh shit.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
Well,
Indeed.
I think we need to talk then because I think this is a book that Lisa could put out easy.
Cool.
And then you can get a percentage of the book in sales. And this guy, police officer, he was actually in the episode that I was in Chasing UFOs. He was working in the 70s in the police. He was a police officer, and he was dispatched to a possible fire. Went out to the country, noticed this light about 200 yards away. It's a UFO. It raises. It shoots a light at him through the windshield and burns him.
It burned him good
from the waist up. He goes to the whole story behind it is just not that.
Wow.
And he goes home the following morning to the police station, and his buddies who saw him the night before says, "Hey," pulls him into the bathroom, says, "What happened to you?" And he goes, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And he noticed that he's fried from his head all the way down to his stomach. He goes home. His wife sees him. He goes to bed. He starts having seizures. They take him to the hospital. The doctors look at him. They said, "You got radiation burns, man." And he has all the forums. He has all the pictures. He has everything, dude. But everything.
Well, good.
Everything. He has so much documentation and pictures and forms. To put in a book, it's unbelievable.
It's really good stuff.
So
and then his grandson, when we were shooting the what was it, Chasing UFOs?
Right.
And they had Nat Geo out here, and those guys are off in the field doing the interview with him. And his I think he was 9 years old, and I'm a pretty smart guy, right? I mean, I could read like 1,280 words a minute and stuff like that, and I breezed through college and high school, and I read every book in the library, but only I don't talk like
called nerd.
Yeah, I don't talk like a brainiac, but I know my stuff. Well, this 9-year-old realized that he was trying to like show off and talk about dimensions and all this nuclear fission and stuff like that. And so then me and him got into a battle of wits or smarts or whatever you want to call it, and I roasted him. He's only 9,
but he was a smarty pants.
Oh my God, he almost whipped me. I mean, I had to really I had to pull out everything to whip him.
So where are we going with this grandson is that we think it was off from the burn.
But
so
somehow
something changed his DNA, and it went from his son to his grandson.
His son's like a rocket scientist too.
There is a great story to be told here from a police officer.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So
awesome.
So maybe we need to talk about this, and maybe we can make this happen.
Fun.
All right. Okay. Well, hey Heidi, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
God only knows, but
we're having fun tonight. Can't you tell? No.
I try to take anything and everything out of the ordinary, pull it in, try to figure it out, and try to help other people get this crazy world of ours. I always say, been there, seen that, tried that, experienced it, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm trying to help other people do the same thing. So, go to my main website, HeidiHollis.com, and I also welcome everybody to write to me about their strange phenomena or questions, comments, experiences, drawings. Write me to oddadvicehh@gmail.com, and we will feature it here on the show. So,
awesome.
Getting on with the first one.
Okay.
The first image that I sent to you guys.
Now,
nothing really extraordinary as far as images are concerned.
Just to let everybody know, your pictures and links are on the artbell.com website right now for all those who want to go over there and just keep up with us. What I did is, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing this from now on. I figured out how to do it. Is I downloaded all the videos the links onto my screen. So I'm going to let everybody here see the videos now.
Awesome. That's cool.
So that way you can go ahead and talk about it instead of just taking snapshots. Go ahead and send the snapshots anyways in case the video doesn't play. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about picture number 1. Is this the UFO over Louisville, right?
This is over Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly where this one was taken. They just said over Kentucky. guys see it there. Isn't that pretty cool? Interesting, because this is a really short, brief video, and you see these 3 black dots that are in kind of like a
music on the
triangular
video is too
pattern
loud, so
in
turn
the
off
sky.
the volume on that.
And
on the video.
pretty cool. But the second part, which is the second video, is even more interesting. But this person, it's funny. They're like, and they're gone. And there's like these 3 black, little dots there. But when you go to the second one, this is done by the same person now. This is September 9th of this year, by the way. Both of these are same person over Louisville. And going across the sky. So it went
Just
from,
turn it all the
I don't
way
know
off.
which one came first. They don't indicate it. They
They
just
don't need
say,
it.
there's these 3 black, odd craft in the sky, only to show this cigar-shaped UFO, is how they described it, cigar-shaped. It looks doesn't quite look cigar-shaped to me, but I don't know. It almost looks like a rod shape. You know how the lovely rods that are very popular these days.
Well, you know
long.
what? That isn't. What are we looking at? Are we looking at what I'm circling right there? Wait, I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm replaying the video.
It's a black up to your left, I think it is. I can't tell from the video that.
Am I watching the? Am I watching? Oh no, I'm watching the wrong.
Yeah, on the
one.
left side, you'll see that black cigar shape.
Am I watching the right video?
Reflection part.
Was it the right video? Oh, there it is. I see it.
Yep, to the left. Yeah,
There
there's
it
a
is.
lot of reflection in this video.
Okay, I'm circling it. Let's go back. There
Yeah,
it
it's difficult to spot.
I'm gonna
But
pause it.
again, not
the sound's
visually
off now,
stimulating
right?
as far as the UFO sightings more
Yeah.
recent, but still kind of cool that people are paying attention and trying to catch it. So, all right, and then the next one, kind of getting into some interesting stuff.
So we are number
this is-
4, the angel, correct?
Yes, number 4, an angel over London. Now, this was photographed August 17th of last year. So it was interesting. This person was outside with some
Is it an
friends,
angel or a
and they
fairy?
thought that, it's a pretty nice sky. Let me take a picture.
Whoa.
And when she went to go show it to her friends, she caught this image that looked very much like an angel.
Like Tinkerbell.
Yeah, like Tinkerbell, like a fairy or something. And it's like,
Oh.
it doesn't strike me as being very large, so I would say more fairy-like, and this is London, so, hey.
We could see
But
the
it's very
flash,
pretty. I
like
mean,
on
even
the
if it's a
top of the
rod.
tip of the tree. You see the flash. It flashed on the tip of the tree, or lights it
Yeah.
up. Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really kind of cool. It's like, I don't know of any bug that can bend like that, and the patterns are pretty distinctive. It's like, it makes you think of a
wow,
rod,
okay.
but I haven't seen rods that
No.
have an arch like that. So it's quite a phenomenon, and I just thought it would be a nice little touch of something different.
Sure, that's cool. That's cool looking.
And now this next one is a little bit more complicated and more interesting. And I was trying to find other copies of this to try to find a date on this, and I just could not get a date. So this is, let me grab it here. Okay. Odd lights coming from the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
Whoa.
When you watch this video,
Whoa.
and you have to watch it closely because the top area of the Capitol,
What the hell
you'll
was that?
see like odd lights streak across the very top of the dome. Like within.
Whoa.
So as you
Actually,
it's-
I saw it already.
you
No,
gotta kind of pay attention, but you see like those weird and the lights are filling up all the little portal windows there.
Okay, let's try that again.
And
I'm gonna see.
then you'll see an odd flash. But also in the very bottom of the Capitol, you'll see 3 people or I don't know what they are, moving oddly at the bottom, like in a pattern, like they're following each other identically. And now But then you see this odd shooting
Okay,
of a light coming from the building, though, too. And it's
Is-
like, what the heck was all of this going on? So,
I wonder what they were shooting at.
yeah. Well, it almost seems like it's coming out of it.
Right, yeah, like they're shooting at something from
Yeah.
inside there.
So what are we trying to say here? That our government has secret lasers built into the Capitol building?
The Capitol building is a UFO. I'm
Dang,
kidding.
dude, that
Wait
it
a
looks like it
minute.
comes
Now,
right
you're
out of it.
tripping me out here, okay? Because I'm looking at the video.
I mean, it may be a weapon of some sort, for all we know.
What?
But,
the-
I mean...
Now wait, I want to see these alien things. Now, does this like after at the very end of the video, or?
You'll see them at the very base
Here you go. Hold
of
on.
the building. The very bottom of the building. And I believe the video will zoom in on them to show them kind of scurrying one after the other. And it's really
I see
an
'em.
odd movement that they're doing, too. So they kind of follow the leader almost,
What the hell?
Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
It's just so crazy. There goes a little arrow pointing. It's just so, I just don't get it. I'm like, but what the heck are we looking at here? I don't know. It's a piece of footage that I'd never heard of or seen before. So I just thought, wow,
Whoa,
okay.
Did you freeze on it, or did they
No,
do that?
they froze it on it. Yeah, I'm tripping out too. What the hell? And I'm trying to find a special sound effect for this, but I can't find one right now. Damn it!
But again, I can't find a date on this. Somebody grabbed this from somebody else apparently, and I don't know. I mean, it's just a mysterious piece of footage.
All right, I'm gonna
And-
play it back because this is pretty cool shit here.
It's
Oh, I'm
not
gonna-
extraordinarily clear. It almost looks like an older video of some sort, but I sure would like to get more information on it. I just could not locate anything.
Like, so has anybody ever been there, and do they know what's in that third tundra or whatever you call it, or does anybody know?
I wonder.
Rotunda, is
I
that what
don't
they call
know.
it? A
I mean,
rotunda?
Pretty crazy.
That
Pretty crazy.
is
I don't know.
cra-
I'm watching the video as you guys are playing it back, and it's like, it's just mind blowing. I don't know. Hopefully I get more information on it at some point. I'm going to try to stay on this one and see if I could locate anything.
That's a good one. I have never
Yeah.
seen anything like it at all.
No.
And somebody shooting at something from inside there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Right, and if somebody was messing with the video, doing something bizarre with it, it surely isn't like extraordinarily made, it's just kind of a rough cut of somebody videotaping and caught something weird. To me, that's what it comes off as. I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
Really weird. So,
Wow, that was cool.
That
yeah.
that was cool.
There you go. But now, in the spirit of this month being the month of All Hallows Eve and all that, I have gathered some lovely demon stories to share with you guys.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yes,
You know what I've been doing every night? I've been marathoning the Munsters.
The monster.
Oh,
yeah, man.
Come on.
Creepy,
If you're gonna-
scary monsters.
If you're gonna do something, really get. What, you big sissy.
that is funny. You know what? I got fitted with a new brace, like splint for my hand, and I am not kidding you. They call it the Munster brace.
Really?
And I'm a therapist who learns how to do splints and braces for arms and hands, and I've never heard of it before. I'm like, as in Herman Munster? They're like, yes.
and for the chat people, yes, this is on Dark Matter.
Yes.
What we were showing.
Yes, on Dark Matter.
Yes, yes.
The links are on Dark Matter. Artbell.com to be exact. Artbell.com. It is. It has the
Paranormal UFO report.
Is that what does it say?
Usually
Heidi?
it's something like that.
Something like that.
Okay.
and then I'll have it also linked on the YouTube later when I get it loaded up there.
Okay. How come?
Yes. All right, you guys ready for a couple of spooky stories?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let me lower the volume.
All right, here we go. Let me grab. I've got 3 of them here, actually, so I'm just going to... I have not read through these prior to reading these off. I just like the title. These are people sharing their
So
stories
that's
online,
like a
and I just
black-eyed
grabbed
horny
them. So,
person, right?
this one is called The Black Devil Story.
The black devil horny guy.
Conspiracy says, I remember this creepy thing still very strongly because this was one of my scariest moments in my life. I remember I was only about 3 to 4 years old, and I still remember this bad thing. I asked for my mom, and she said that I didn't ever wake up in the middle of the night for any reason when I was a kid, but that night I did. I didn't see any kind of horror movies or anything like that at the time when this happened, so it wasn't like my imagination, like everybody else is saying. So I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't know why. The same time as I opened my eyes, my door was open, and I saw a very tall black demon with devil's horns standing in my doorway. It really had those very creepy red eyes, and it just stood there and waved at me with the right arm very slowly and creepy. It was so dark, but I saw red eyes very well, and it had pretty long fingernails. So I was so young, I thought it was just some monster who tried to scare me. So I pretended I wasn't afraid, and I said very quietly, "Hi, monster." And I was shaking and freaked out. I slowly turned my body away from the devil to the wall and started screaming for my mommy and crying. When I screamed for about 5 seconds, I looked at the door where the demon was, and I just saw it fade away very slowly. I don't remember anything would happen next. I think my mom came to the door or something like that, and I told her about the monster, and no one believed me. Now when I'm older, I'm sure it was a demon. Still, this really scares me. And then somebody put a comment that says, I saw a very similar thing when I was a young girl, a dark figure with horns and red eyes. It was walking past my bedroom window and stopped to stare at me. Scared me so badly. I thought it was the devil at the time, but I'm not really sure what these things are. They don't feel friendly in any way. Oh boy! So that was a quick and brief one.
That was a good one. That was good.
This one says, a demon woke me up. All right, this says, I will be telling the story about a demon, and definitely hope I make no mistakes in this one. My father has a history with it, but I won't be mentioning his story because it's not mine. But if there are questions about it from readers, I will answer. I have seen this evil entity once, but I don't remember it in full detail. All I remember are the glowing red eyes and this red and black mixed aura around it. I may have only seen it outside because I requested before for my father to put down salt to keep it from going inside. Now this demon I was skeptical of, but not until Father cried for his friends one night. The victims were friends of his that he knew for 4 or 5 years. He yelled and cried at the top of his lungs, and the more he did, the more power this demon got. My father looked me in the eyes every moment, and every time the crown of my forehead began to rattle. That's strange. It may have happened 5 times or more, and definitely enough to make me cry. My stepmother was included, but she cried first, and I tried not to pay attention by going about my business on the internet, but the more he went on, the more this demon was trying to get into my head, and even if it was a little bit at first. Maybe a year or 2 later, my stepmother saw another demon outside, but we were unsure if it was the same one that followed my father. She refused to go out there and felt very weary about it. She wouldn't even allow me to go outside. And that night, I tried going to do chores. We had to dump a few things out there, but she pulled me by the shoulder and told me to finish it tomorrow. I looked out the window, same as her, and I definitely saw a demon out there. It was in the shape of a wolf, and I can't define the actual size of it, but I definitely knew it was bigger than me. This wolf looked unnatural, and its fur was spikier than most wolves. Its eyes were glowing red color, and the paws was unnatural, as if the claws themselves were about the size of my head. Well, maybe at the time anyway. I was smaller when I was in high school. But I could be wrong about the size. I can't deny it. It was scary. But since that night, we have never seen that demonic wolf again. That was a strange one. The way some people write their stories. But, okay, I got another one. I don't read these ahead of time just because I like to be surprised, too.
You're going to put everybody's going to be too scared to go to sleep.
No, Say your prayers, everybody. All right, this one is called The Green Imp. This story takes place in 1975. At the time, I was only 5 years old, but this event has been burned into my memory, and don't believe I shall ever forget it. My parents and I had taken a road trip to California to my mother's aunt and uncle who lived in Fresno.
Whoa, wait, what?
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even catch that.
Okay, pay attention, people.
It was me. No.
All right.
This trip crosses long stretches of Nevada desert and took some time in the fall. This happened sometime in the fall, I'm assuming they mean. These were the days before air conditioning was standard in vehicles, so it was very hot, but I do remember it being quite warm. Anyways, after our visit was over and we headed back to Salt Lake City, which is where we lived, we had taken a different route that my mom's uncle had said was faster, but we ended up getting very lost, wandering around in Nevada's back roads. Oh no. It was starting to get late. My parents had been arguing and can remember being very hungry. We finally came across a small town. Not really sure if it's classified as a town. It had a motel, a gas station, a restaurant, and about a half dozen trailer homes. Oh, this sounds like a horror movie. So we stopped for the night. First, we checked into the motel, which only had a basement room available with 2 double beds in it. We left our suitcases and wandered over to the restaurant to eat. After dinner, my father got directions back to the main highway, and we went back to our room for the night. Let me paint a picture of this room. It had no carpeting on the floor, just concrete. The double beds were against one wall and one small window above them. I really can't remember the color scheme, but I remember the bathroom only had a toilet and a sink in it. Anyways, I remember the beds were hard as rocks and couldn't get any sleep right away because we were so uncomfortable. I had a habit of letting my arm hang down the side of the bed. I slept a lot on my stomach as a kid for some reason. This made it easier to get to sleep, and I faded off. I was fast asleep when I felt something tug at my arm. We had a dog named Christy, an English setter, who sometimes would tug at my arm while I was sleeping, letting me know that she wanted to play. But on this trip, we hadn't brought her along. I mumbled to her to stop it and to let me sleep. A little while later, felt the tug again, but a little harder this time. It was enough to wake me almost completely. I looked around and didn't see anything, then put my head back down with my arm on the side again. Moments later, this tug pulled me all the way off the bed. I landed hard on the floor and started screaming for my mom. My mom jumped up and saw what was happening. This greenish ball of mist was sickening, bright green, glowing center, had pulled me off the bed and started dragging me across the floor. I can remember being held in a weird vice-like grip, but not being able to see any hands holding on to me. Well, my mom jumped out of bed and ran up behind this thing and screamed, "No!" Then she smacked it with her hand, which made contact with the thing. You could hear a loud smacking sound. Once this thing was hit, it let go of my arm and let out a high-pitched scream like I have never heard before. It started whirling around like a funnel and then disappeared into the drain that was located in the center of the room. My dad had slept through most of this and hadn't woken up until he heard the thing scream. I ended up sleeping between my parents the rest of the night with no further incidences. Years later, I was telling the story to someone who had a great deal of experience with the paranormal and supernatural. What he told me was this: the thing I had encountered was an imp. An imp is a low-level demon that feeds upon the souls of young children. They also have the ability to take shape or form and usually appear as children to other children. He also told me that folklore and mythology has some root in the fact that many of the old fables are still true today as they were hundreds of years ago. He also told me that I was very lucky. Many children have gone missing and have ended up in the hands of these demons and have never been found ever again. That's the end of my story.
Whoa.
Ooh.
They get found in David Paulides' books.
Ooh. My God, I've never heard of such a thing. A green green mist of an imp that goes down the drain?
That's
Wow, man.
wow, that's the drain. What movie was that? Amityville Horror. The thing coming out of the drain. That the blob comes out of the drain.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. That is crazy. That is
Those
just,
are
I don't
good
know.
ones. I'm glad I get to drive home. See, then I can like shake the story off on the way home.
Shake it off, huh?
I'm gonna call you on the phone, and then I'm not
little
gonna
Taylor
I'm
Swift
not
dance,
gonna
shake
say
it off,
anything.
it'll
I'm
be
just
fine.
gonna say. Then all of a sudden I'm here. And he's gonna crash. and die.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Ugh.
Lights back on.
I do have an email, but I don't know if you guys have time.
Yeah,
but
we do. Go for it.
We do?
Yeah, go for
Okay, all right. Here we go. This one says, "Good day, Heidi. I have this experience that happens to me and has happened all my life to this day. I apologize for the length of this, but I would like to vent to you."
Ooh.
The first memory was when I was 5 or 6 years old. We lived in a rural setting. I was being babysat by my aunt, who was in her teens. She was busy watching TV with her back to me. I climbed onto the couch. We had a big picture window that I liked to look out. Across the street, we had 2 outdoor skating rinks, and at night, the lights were always on so people could skate late at night. This night, I was looking out the window and saw a man standing right across the street at the end of the rink closest to our house. I knew he was watching me. He had a definite shape. I could tell he was well-dressed, and yes, he did have a hat on, and it was an old-time gangster hat. I turned to look at my aunt and said to her, "Auntie, who is that man?" My aunt didn't really pay attention to my question. From that day forward, I have had these things in my life. Some were very scary, some were not. I know that these things are not good, but they have never hurt me yet. I'm not the kind of person that scares easy any longer because of what follows me. I wake up at night with my toes being tickled. That happens a lot. I wake up with these shadow people standing right beside me. I see them in the day and night. I can see or feel their presence pretty much all the time. They poke their heads through the doors or look out the closets at me. It doesn't happen much anymore, but my terror dreams were just that. We had moved from that first farm to another when I was a teen, and I would wake up sitting in a chair on our porch in the early a.m., 3 to 4 a.m. I was dreaming that this dark person was standing at the garage and wanted into the house and would sit out there to act as a sentry. But it all happened in my dream, but I would wake up outside looking at the garage, but I would wake up outside looking at the garage. Wow. I have truly scary and strange stories. My wife and I went camping with my good friends and family. This was not that long ago. My friend invited a couple to go camping at the same time. My friend knows about the things that happened to me. This couple traveled the world helping people get rid of these entities and other kinds of creepy things. He didn't tell them about me, and I didn't tell him about them. During the night around the campfire, the women, who are Eastern Indians, stared at me for quite some time, which I found unsettling in itself, and suddenly said to me, "Doesn't that thing bother you?" I instantly knew what she meant. I have this entity that follows me everywhere, and it stands behind me. It's huge, very tall, 15 feet or so. I said to the women, "No, it doesn't bother me," and as a matter of fact, the area went quiet. Only my friend knew what was happening. I have a connection to the Orion constellation also that bothered these two. Anyways, these women asked my friend, "Where did you meet this guy?" in a holy crap-like tone. Months later, these women emailed me and told me things about my past lives, but she said that I was here in the beginning and I'll be here in the end. Everyone that I know will leave this place, but I'm here for the whole show. Wow. She said that I practice black magic in Atlantis and have lizards that sit at my shoulders to this day and thinks they are my pet. I'm not sure what all this means, but I have seen it all. I just needed to share this with you after hearing you on another program. Sincerely, Greg. Woo! Goodness.
Wow.
Okay. Some people are just haunted.
Definitely needed to
Messed
vent.
up.
Yeah.
Definitely
My gosh.
needed to vent. Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
what
he
that's
sure
what we're
did.
here for. That's what we're here for. Vent away.
Exactly.
And-
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Greg. I mean, it sounds like the Hat Man does that. Hat Man does follow people. And believe it or not, this large entity thing, 15 feet or tall, I've heard of the Hat Man being that tall before. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that is the same thing. You're speaking of it, lizards in Atlantis, but that's those ladies telling you that. So I'm not sure. But it does sound like, indeed, things got an interest in you. And, I think I'm going to be here for the whole show, too, for the end. So, it's nice to know I have a friend in the mix. So there you have it.
Right on. Cool beans.
My goodness.
Cool beans.
Yes.
Right on.
Do you guys feel that? Do you feel like you're going to be here for the end?
Yeah, I do. I thought I wasn't there for a minute, though.
Wait. What do you mean?
I thought it was the end for me there like a few weeks ago.
Oh, now what do you mean the end? You mean when the big guy arrived back? You mean?
When the crap hits the fan for the last time.
I think I'm going to avoid the crap.
Good question. I'm that old. Yeah, I think I have another 25 years to live, I think. And that, you know what I'm saying? Before I die of old age, I think. Or not unless they come up with the cure for everything, then we can be here for a long time.
I heard that cure for the everything is actually going to be everybody's heard of the mark, right?
Right.
Take the mark.
Okay.
I actually heard that is going to be what will make everybody take the mark.
They're going to dangle it in front of you, say, here, you want to live.
You want to live for like 500 years, take this mark, and a lot of people are going to go for it because it has all these good things attached to it.
Mhm.
Never mind, you won't be able to buy or sell or anything without it also.
Right.
But like, I actually see we are going to see that stuff happen.
Yeah.
If we're here.
I think so.
If we're here. There's also going to be an escape plan, and I believe that too, on the seventh trumpet.
Oh,
Seventh trumpet.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that's going on. I don't know if you guys have had the exopolitics fella, Dr. Sala, on the program recently.
No.
He's got a newer book out. I actually had him on my program not too long ago, on the Outlander show, and I was talking to him about some of his latest work where, how can I say, NASA has been having interactions with an alien race who are in charge of giant spheres that are said to be the big kahunas when it comes to alien races who are going to be coming here to essentially scoop us up and save us from some of the things that are going to be happening to this planet. And it's so interesting because
what do you think about that?
You think that's negative or positive?
These beings that he was talking about and what he was mentioning, it was something similar to what I've written in my book, The Secret War, and another friend of mine who spoke of these same alien beings that he was talking about that I think I stunned him. My friends had the same alien on the front of their book. If you go to thelightside.org, and I believe it's called Alien Contact. I have to look it up here. But it was a big blue bird-looking like type creature, and he was talking about how these beings are not something that people are aware of. And I'm like, I sent him a copy of the cover of my friend's book, and I'm like, dude, yes, these are here. Yeah, it's called Alien Contact on thelightside.org. You'll be able to see their book on there. But it was pretty amazing stuff. I mean, NASA being in contact with these other alien beings and how the ones that are here, that the big kahunas are coming because the big kahunas are more of the lighter side of things, and the ones that are the draconians that are used to being the bullies of the planet have respect for these more positive beings
Are-
coming
are-
and have
are-
no power over them.
How did they? How did he say that they were going to arrive? I mean, could we talking maybe on another planet?
I heard that they're already here.
Well, that's the interesting part, because even like the alien contact that I'd had, they spoke of, things changing here, vibrational patterns changing, and how we're going to go through a transition, and our bodies are going to change, and we're going to leave off planet. But for some people, it's not going to be such a smooth transition, because not everybody vibrates at a very positive vibration, I guess you could say, and the ones that do, these other more positive beings that work for God or the source, or it seems like that's what he was leaning towards. But that's what I was told in regards to my book, The Secret War, talking about these more positive beings that are here to assist in the process. And it's because the world is essentially shaking out of control, and the things that we've done to it need to be corrected.
Well,
and a lot of the alien beings that are already here are destroying and making sure that we destroy.
How do we know? How do we know who to trust?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I want to know.
I always tell people you have to be able to close your eyes and know what's standing before you, and go with your gut instinct, not go with what you see, because these things can mimic each other.
Check this
so
out.
It's like
Check
to go
this
with your
out.
gut instinct on stuff.
Okay, check this out. I did a little bit of research on these things, right? And I use the Bible like a gauge to test everything to. And the reason I do that is because so far it is infallible, right? I mean, even scientists and archaeologists and everybody will tell you that there hasn't been one thing in it that they could prove wrong yet, okay, so far. And actually, there's some things in it that they didn't believe, that they thought they had it. They thought they, were going to be able to disprove it or debunk it, and then all of a sudden they found archaeology that proved it. So far, it is like the thing that you test everything to, right? Okay. Then you could see in if you watch Ancient Aliens, or if you go and look at the Egyptians, they show these blue avians, okay? And some of them are gods, okay, supposedly, that these earthlings are checking, like they're worshiping these things. And it starts to, in these old texts and also in the Bible, it talks about where they're messing around with DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what do they call it? Where, oh man, I can't remember what the terminology is, but only they're able to take like one piece of, like, say, a bull and a human, or an alligator and a human, or a bird and a human, and they put them together and they make, a human bird whatever thing, or an animal with the head of a human, things like that. Now, in the Bible and in some other text that you read, these things are created by the Nephilim, or these fallen angels beings, or some of them, and they have powers and all this stuff, but they're not. It's going to be what everybody's calling the Great Deception. They're going to come and say they're saving everyone, and really they're not. It'll be like the big fake out thing. And
I believe it. I believe that there are some that are, definitely not here for the right reasons. That's why I think that it's, I think we're all born with the God-given gift of discernment to be able to know and to test within ourselves and outwardly, if something is of good or evil. And, it's like running blindly to any UFO would be so, like Independence Day, kapow,
Well, I mean,
the movie. So it's like having applying heavy amounts of common sense is recommended. So I don't follow anything blindly like that. And it's like, even like in my circumstances, as far as, the alien contact that I had, and my friends that have had this alien contact, and And, when I hear these different stories, and it's like, I can only doubt my own perspective and perception for so long. And I'm like, okay, I really witnessed this, and I really experienced this, and I really did test it. And it's like, okay, I know for myself, what it is that I experienced to be, how can I say, the beings that I had the contact with told me I didn't pray enough, and that Jesus was who he said he was, but the different beings of heaven, that's in the Bible too, don't look like the fluffy people in white robes, all of them,
Right.
There's different creatures of heaven, and some are not so, cute and adorable, but I think
like
that if they
cherubim,
speak
for
of,
instance.
when you can discern that something is of God, I think that it's something that we're going to have to, discern for ourselves on an individual basis on if something is good or not to go with. And I know it's going to be difficult. I mean, and it's something that I don't recommend anybody to just follow blindly. If fluffy clouds and thrones upon the clouds are what you believe in, look for them. Build a Tower of Babel and try to reach them. Perhaps maybe, it may not look as we depicted it in our minds, always. And don't be disappointed if it doesn't play out that way.
That's
I
what
sometimes
that's what they're
things
called.
can be
That's what they're called.
unpredictable. And,
Chimera?
Chimera.
Chimera? Okay.
What's that?
Somebody just texted us over what Alan was trying to figure out the name.
Yeah, the name of them are Chimera. That's
okay.
the mixed.
Yeah, so, but it's
things.
just, it was so weird to me to have him sitting there talking about his new book. I look at the cover while he's talking, and it's of a blue bird-like creature, and I'm like, my friends have been in contact with these types for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I have not heard of these blue bird ones, maybe a couple times over the years, but I was really stunned, and that NASA's having interactions with them, and that these are the ones that are making these other beings that are infiltrating over here on the planet very nervous that they're going to lose their foothold on things here. So I'm like, wow, it's interesting. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's just information. That it's just, when you get verification from another source, it's like, okay. And he also, this is, boy, I tell you, I had something really crazily explained to me that made sense to me, because I told you guys I've had several MILABs, military abductions, and couldn't quite place them when they took place. I was taken for a very long period of time, and he helped explain a bit to me that really helped it make sense for me. I have some explaining to do, some exploring to do.
Really, like you got abducted by like the Montauk thing, or the what do they call the other one?
So did the military take you because of what's happening to you, and they wanted to know more, or what do you mean?
The
MK
first
Ultra,
couple of
is that what it
times,
is?
the bits of information and memory that I have with it, it was confusing what exactly they were after. But this other time, I mean, I was gone for a very long time, but I had no point of saying to, asking my friends or family, was I gone for months? It felt like months I was gone. And I have the memory and I have the anger attached to it very well.
Well, if you were gone for that long, well, I guess time depends. Well,
that's what he helped explain to me, actually, was how the government was involved in time travel when they would take people. And so it would seem like they weren't gone long for others. But
Okay.
for you knew you were gone for a long period of time. And I had never thought of that. Because time travel just seems so far-fetched to me. I've never really grasped that concept. But you know what? I was gone for a long time, and I know it. And I just couldn't point it out to a person, I was gone this time. It was so strange to me. And but in his newer book, and he said that he describes how they're making use of that, and it made complete sense to me, because I'm like, there is no other explanation for how I was gone for so long. I mean, I was gone a long time.
Now, how do you know you were gone for a long time? I mean, didn't you have a job at that time, or did? I mean,
I was a college
they
student,
used time
and,
travel,
Okay.
so they could take her and she could be gone, like Andy was saying, a year, a summer,
right?
And then bring him back and put her back in bed 3 minutes
Yeah.
before they took her or whatever.
Like what happened to us
Yeah,
today?
that's what he was explaining had happened to somebody else, and it made complete sense for me because I just didn't know how to say to, do you guys know when I was missing? I was gone. What? It was just so hard for me to try to explain to anybody. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I get back here and have nobody know I was gone? I mean, it was just the strangest thing. It was the strangest thing, and out of anything I've ever experienced, nothing has made me more angry than to have our own government pulling BS like that against their own people. And it's absolute bogus what they're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of kids are disappearing and stuff, and it's because of them. I mean, people and everything are disappearing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. The one time that they took me, I was conscious, fully aware for hours while they had me paralyzed. Hours.
And all you could do is move your eyes, huh?
Yes, very, and just really, just so angering, just really bad. So, yep, crazy stuff.
What were they doing? Like, were they just ignoring you and letting you just lay there, or?
No, I wasn't laying. That's the thing. I was standing upright, and in a line of people in our pajamas.
Oh wow!
and unable to control my movements. But then, as if they sent a thought to take a step forward, everybody stepped forward at the exact same time, and we all took a step. We're all going in a line to, on a military base. My dad was in the military for many years, and I recognized the puke green paint on the walls.
Right.
So it was something else. I was just stewing and brewing, watching guys in full camouflage and rifles walking back and forth, keeping an eye on us, and it was pretty awful.
Do you think because your father was in the military and you're a military brat, that's why they took you and you were involved? That's why. Do you think maybe your dad was involved somehow?
My dad was involved to a certain extent of something that he can't. He'd kill me if I speak on. He wants to keep his pension. So,
right.
But he was a computer guy. He was also a plane mechanic, but he was also very much involved in computers, and he was one of the few who could do what he did at the time. So I don't know. He's never told me, but I always had a feeling, and I'd even ask him, like, Dad, were you ever involved in something that you want to tell me about, UFO-wise? And he would just smile.
Wow.
That would have been like, I would have held him down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but, there's a couple things that he was aware of, but, he's never told me anything really in depth.
A lot of them,
Yeah, so I don't know. He was Air Force for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And then Army for maybe like 5 or 7, something like that.
Wow, he was one of the ones that went multi-military. Wow.
Yeah, he loved it. Loved it. So, I don't know. But, and I'm very, pretty certain that it was the Air Force that had taken me at least on 2 occasions.
Yeah, they're the ones, and the Navy are the other ones. Those two right there are known for their, doing things like that. And
they had the guys that were interrogating me had white shirts and navy blue ties.
That would be the Navy. So they were there. The Navy was involved too. Man, that's amazing. It could have been. I guess they use what do they call them? Their dress whites. I don't know what the Marines and everybody has those. I guess, but it's hard to tell. But I know one thing. I know the Navy deep involved, and the Air
Oh,
Force
yeah.
too. I mean, so much so that there's like a secret Air Force in space.
Yep.
And
Well, I believe it.
from these aliens that you're talking about, and we're doing all this stuff like Star Trek, and we don't know it. You know what I mean? Like, we are in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. I mean, oh gosh, sometimes I've been in this for a long time, and I get people contacting me out of the blue, and sometimes you take things with a grain of salt, but then when people are persistent, you're like, hold on, I better pay attention to what they're talking about. And I had a guy contact me out of nowhere. I'm from Wisconsin, and there were NASA storage facilities in Wisconsin that could hold certain things that very few places could hold. It's something about the way that their containment system is set up to be able to not be penetrable by, I don't know, something or other. This guy he'd contact me every once in a while, send me an email, and I'm like, I'm not interested in whatever this guy's writing to me about. And he's like, don't you wonder why I'm contacting you? He's like, your name was in our system.
Oh, wow.
He said, I'm not into UFOs. I'm contacting you because I'm wondering, why is your name in our system and the name of shadow people being involved?
Whoa.
That was before, like, the internet was really taken off, and, there wasn't a whole lot out there in general, and this guy was just writing me, like, I'm at the NASA such and such, and he's like, we get deliveries off from Lake Michigan, and if you want to see one of them coming to one of our storage locations at this time, you'll see one of our barges coming in, and he's like, this is how you'll know that I am who I'm saying I am, and your name is in our system here. And I'm like, what the heck? Wow. I mean, it was just so bizarre, so bizarre. I mean, and some of the stuff he shared was just crazy.
You are so in.
Freaked me out.
You are in so deep. It's not even funny. How do I know you're actually Heidi?
Dude, I'm just sitting here floating behind you at your desk there, like one of those ghosts. And
how do I know you're not here to watch us? And
for all I know, I could be watching myself.
I know, huh? Clone.
Oh,
like they messed up and didn't hook your neck.
And I was going to call you tomorrow and tell you some secret stuff. Hell no.
Oh, come on now. I'm not involved.
Now you're going to call her and ask for some secret stuff.
Bullshit.
You're gonna be calling her and asking her for secret stuff. Like, what is the secret stuff?
You know what? All these stories she's been telling are actually real shit she does to people.
I like to.
Now you are scaring everybody. No.
Alan and I are actually
not in fully control of my life, but then you get these weird things, and it's like, what is going on? It's just crazy.
Oh man!
I mean, we kind of know. I mean, we were trespassing on this guy's land, finding these really neat things that we still haven't really figured out. But when we went over there, the guy knew all about us. I mean, he knew our birthday. He knew everything. And we had a TV producer with us, and he knew everything about her, too.
And he's saying,
like, I'm not going to call the police, and then started naming off everything about us.
And then he was saying, don't be surprised if your show doesn't air.
Yeah.
And we're all, what? What?
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
And when we got back in the vehicle, she looked at us, and she goes, what just happened? And she threw her head down in her laps and was shaking her head. She's going, oh... And I was going, oh, my God, welcome to Fresno, California, everyone.
Yeah.
It's because you guys learned her age. That's why she did
No, man, let me tell you. There's some heavy SHIT going on in this city of ours.
Yeah, I think there's some really old, like, Stargate stuff or something. All military stuff underground here, and we stumbled onto it.
And Kevin Cotton, when he called, he wants to come in here. And he says, you know what, Jeff, I don't want to talk over the phone because of what I've seen, and he has not. What he has seen is not
earth-shattering
stuff, but it adds to what we think has been going on north of Fresno. Okay, and he, instead of him talking on the phone to everybody out there in internet radio land, he wants to come in here so you can see his face and he can tell you here live in the studio what he has witnessed over there, and that way we can start writing this stuff down and say, you know what happened, this over here happened, 2 years ago. It adds to this, and we can connect the dots, sort of, kind of. And he wants to come in. I think he's going to come in next week.
Well, I know, like, when we first met him, he was calling us, out and saying that
you guys are absolutely smoking the crack. You guys don't. There's no such thing. You guys just are full of shit.
Yeah, and I mean, he was really after us, like, in bagging on us hard. And then he kept going out to this one place,
and he witnessed something.
Yep. And then ever since, now he's 007.
Now he's really getting the ball. He has done some research about that area, and that he wants to come in and talk about. But anyways, all right, Katie.
So that'll be the day that your show will crash. Okay, I'll prepare.
Yeah. I never even thought of that. Thank you for warning everybody. Yeah, you never know. You know what? He wants to come in next week, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll come in next week.
That would be really cool.
All right, I'll plan a vacation for next weekend.
That's going to be awesome. All right, Heidi, we'll talk to you next week for sure.
Bye,
right,
Heidi.
you guys have a good
Okay,
one.
see ya.
Okay, bye.
All right.
I love video. I can wave at him.
So,
Bye.
All right, yeah, well, man, Heidi is really, there are some people out there.
That was some cool stuff
There
tonight.
are some people out
Really
there
cool.
who don't, like her. She knows somehow she's involved in this, and that's why she is in where she's at right now, writing these books, and because she's got the bug, and there's a reason she has this bug. It's because she's involved in it somehow. She doesn't know all how she is, but when you got the bug, there it's just wow.
Yeah, well, it's like she has something inside of her that she has to get out. I mean, she's like just said 6 books published,
Right.
4 books ready to be published. I mean, she's got a message in there,
Yeah.
And now we find out she has a secret ulterior life, another.
I will be putting
part of her
an
we
ad
didn't know.
on the internet for a new report for UFOs starting next week. No, just kidding,
No
Heidi.
way.
Just kidding, Heidi. All right, let's continue on. Before I forget, because we're almost time there, we've got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Halloween is coming up, so you're going to start seeing our set change a little bit we're going to get into the holiday. This happens to be my wife and I's favorite holiday, and we really get into the holiday big time spirit. This is what's going to happen. Halloween is on a Saturday night, October the 31st, obviously. Keith, if you hear us, if you can hear me right now, if you're listening, Art Bell's people, we will not have a show the following day, so we're going to let you go ahead and run a best of. This is what we're going to do, you guys. All right? We're going to have some fun. For all the people who are watching us right now and listening to us at Art Bell, there's going to be a reason we're going to want you to come and watch. Every year, we put on a haunted house here at the house. And every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Hopefully, on the 31st, it will not rain like it did last year. What we do is we put on a killer haunted house for no charge for the kids and the adults. Actually, mostly for the adults because they enjoy this a lot. We are going to set up the live stream camera on Saturday night, and we're going to record. You have on the internet where there's haunted houses all over America, and they put a camera on the spot in their haunted house where it's the scariest spot there is. So when the family walks by and you cannot see what's scaring them, pops out at them, and you see the reaction of them screaming and then run, and they sometimes fall and just possibly even poop in their pants. Well, we're going to have that here, and we're going to record it for you. So what we're going to do is on that Sunday, November the 1st, we will run that that recorded the day before of all the people getting scared at this particular spot. And we're going to record it, and we're going to play it live on Sunday night for you. All right? So, and you know, we were going to do it live on Saturday, but come on, it's Halloween. I don't want to do this because everybody goes out and they go to parties, especially Saturday night. Everybody's going to be partying, and they're going to have their kids trick-or-treating, and you're going to do what you do on Halloween. I don't want to spoil that for you. So we're going to record it just on live stream, and we're going to play it back for you as if it was live on Sunday night for you guys. And it is going to be a hoot. Usually it goes on for 3 hours, and we're going to do it for 3 hours. So you guys, they're going to get your popcorn. You're going to get the candy that you got the day before. You're going to kick it in your family room. You're going to turn it on. If you can get your computer to put it on the big screen, we're going to have the microphones hooked up. You're going to have stereo sound of them screaming their ass off. And we're going to let you see it all happen. All right? That's what's going to happen on Halloween night. Or, I'm sorry, November 1st. So we're going to have a great old time. I'm going to come out on the mic or on the front of the camera, and I'm going to say, okay, you guys, we're going to start. And here we go. So there are going to be, you know, depending on the breaks in between, you're not going to have people coming in rows. You know, we're going to have a group of people come in, and they're going to get the snot scared out of them. And then there's probably going to be like a 10-second break, and then the next group is going to come in, and it's going to be going through that for a long time. Hopefully it's not going to rain that night, and usually, like I said, we usually get between 500 and 1,000 people every year. It is awesome, all right? So that's what we're going to do for you guys. We're going to set it up really cool. I've got the technology. Why not use it and have some fun with it? So we're going to go for it, right? Okay, let's go ahead and continue with the show. We only have, I'm looking at the time.
Yeah, not much. 10 minutes.
10
maybe.
minutes. All right. I have a couple of more pictures I want to talk about and show you guys. And there's Heidi's stuff on there. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let me show you on really quick here. I'm going to show you a train car that was spotted off the 99 freeway, which is here in Fresno. And someone took a picture of it because they think of me when they do. All right. Look at this. Seen off the Freeway 99 near Fresno. You guys know of the movie They Live, right? Is that what it's called? They Live, right? Right, there it is right there. A picture of what they're trying to symbolize here. And off to the right, there is the symbol of, you know, some say it's a symbol of God. Some say it's a symbol of the Masonic temple or the, you know, Masonics or the Illuminati. Well, there it is. I just wanted to show that to you because I think that's really cool. People are waking up. Maybe these people are actually, no, who knows? This is a car that goes all over the United States. So, all right. So let's show you another photograph really quick. How about this one? This is odd. Check this out. Last Sunday's football Sunday, during football season, obviously there is a game that was, I believe, San Diego Chargers, and it looks like the Cincinnati Bengals. No, Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry. Look at the scoreboard. Look at all the numbers up there. You guys see that? 3rd down and 13 yards to go. Cleveland has 13 points. San Diego has 13 points. It is 3rd down. The time is 13 minutes and 13 seconds. Is that cool or what?
And then isn't there like...
And it's 3 seconds on the time clock.
An uncropped version, and the dude standing over in the corner is 13.
It's 13. I think it's right here. I believe
Number 13.
Yeah, I believe it's like right here on the top right-hand corner.
Yeah.
But this is legit, guys. This is not made up. It was all over the internet and very cool. And if it is made up, well, then I got scammed. But otherwise, there it is. No, actually, because Danny actually put it on and found it also and put it on the Paranormal Central like page. So, all right, don't really promote ourselves that much, but Paranormal Central has a like page, you guys, on Facebook. Go like it. All right, go do it. We also have a YouTube page, Paranormal Central YouTube page. Go subscribe to it, because I think what's going to happen here pretty soon is we might be placing videos on there that we're not going to talk about on live stream, or it's not going to be a live stream show per se. But it might be a video that I think you guys really need to see, that maybe we recorded up in the mountains that maybe we came down and all of a sudden got this great footage and Alan, put it together and put it on YouTube, you will never know it's there unless you subscribe to the channel. Go to YouTube, type in Paranormal Central, make sure it's our channel, because there is a couple others that are trying to imitate us, I think. But
there's probably some videos right now that they
can see that you guys don't know
they
that
have
are there.
no clue, and we haven't really showed them on here at all.
Right. So go subscribe to YouTube Paranormal Central, all right? Also, we have a website, paranormalcentral.net. Okay? We have some stuff on the link that Alan put together that are shows that we've been on. It talks about our in-house band. Everybody actually writes in and wants us, and they say, what is that song that you guys play at the very beginning and at the very end? Well, we have our own personal band called Possessed Tranquility, and they actually wrote the song The Unexplained that we use on the intro and the outro. They have couple of albums out on iTunes. Go type in Possessed Tranquility, or go to our website, and there'll be a link on there that has the band name Possessed Tranquility with a bunch of pictures and photos
and links to their
exactly
stuff.
Go buy their stuff. The Unexplained, you can purchase a song, and on iTunes, go buy it, guys. Show them that you dig the stuff they are doing. And on our TV show, they're actually going to be the live band that's placed on the side of us, just like the Roots on the Jimmy Fallon show, and what used to be Paul Schaefer and the David Letterman show. But they're perfect. They're a 4-piece electronic guitar, live bass. Go check them out. And they have a like page as well on Facebook, Possessed Tranquility. Go like them. Go write them some messages. Say how much you appreciate. On
our YouTube channel, if you look to the right on the side, it shows the channels that we prefer. They're one of the preferred channels, so you could click on that and go to their YouTube channel, which also has all their links and everything on it. It's easy to find them, really. Cool. In fact, I'm getting ready to put a logo store together, and with our logo stuff and Bigfoot stuff and UFO stuff and all the kind of stuff, and I'm going to put the links up on our website, our like page, our everything. You'll be able to find. We decided it's time. We have some costs that we can't really afford, and we got to figure out a way to pay for it. Might as well start selling logo stuff and help us, pay for some of this stuff that we need. Like, we just lost some cameras up in the hills.
Stupid Bigfoot.
Yeah, and it's getting expensive, so we need a little bit of money. We'll make it up like that.
So that you're gonna be able to start purchasing T-shirts, mugs, maybe some mouse pads with the logo on it, anything like that. We're gonna really hit it hard, and you guys can just go to the website, and you can click on it and click whatever you want and get it, and there you go. Because I know a lot of people have been really hounding us on for shirts.
Yeah, they have.
And it's time. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, a lot of people, when they do this type of stuff, they think they do it for money. And to this day, I've been doing this since 2003, 4. I have not made a single penny in all what I'm doing. To this day.
If anybody even gave us any money, we plowed it right back into it.
Yeah, it goes right back in, and this is why I'm able to.
Look at that microphone that he has right there. That didn't cost 2 cents.
Yeah, look at the set that we try. We try to give you a good show here, and it takes money to do this, guys. It does. So try to support us now. We will let you know when that site will be up, so you can go and purchase whatever you want with our logo on it, and maybe even our freaking faces on it. Maybe we'll put some pictures on there. I think,
we could.
Yeah, we could do that. So, all right, okay.
Maybe we can even maybe we could autograph them and have it where they can, put it on their coffee mug and have an autographed picture on there.
Really, you guys really want an autograph? I don't know. Yeah. So
$5. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome. So okay, next week, for sure Joni will come on by phone from Orange County and tell us what happened when she got rid of that evil lady in her house. It's really, you're gonna really trip out. It's a really cool story. And I'm gonna try to get Kevin Cotton in here to sit down and talk about the levee and what he has found and what he has seen. Again, he didn't want to talk about it over the phone because it's like, that's the reason why we have a show like this, so you can see the person that talking about this. So, you know, there are a lot of shows out there that are liars, that lie to people, okay? And we're not that type of show here at all right? The stuff that you're getting here is the real deal, all right? There's no reason why for us to even pull this crap up, because we're getting the stuff, man.
Yeah,
like today, you know, I mean, God, I wanted those SD cards so bad. I was so upset, but and I can care less about the cameras being taken. It's the SD cards as I wanted.
The evidence.
I know there was some stuff on on those cards that, oi.
So did Bigfoot, and that's why he took them.
Freaking Bigfoot. So, all right. So there you go.
And I even like, I mean, we didn't talk about it because you think we're crazy, but I still like the time warp part where we kind of time warped. I mean, that's all I can say. But
they don't.
Wow,
well, we didn't really tell them about that, but something happened to us today.
Yeah,
that happened to Robert, Alan, and I.
And then ever since that, you know that movie? What's that movie?
Some crazy stuff.
The one, that one movie with what's his name, and they do the time warp again.
The horror picture.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I've had that song ever since we did the time warp. I had that song in my head all day.
We got a couple of minutes left. Something. Now you know what? We talked about it. If you know. Shall we talk to you? There's no proof whatsoever this happened, but what happened to us today up at the spot,
See, for me, it was like all of a sudden I didn't know where we were. I did not know where we were. And I was realizing, I'm looking at the road, and I was about to tell Jeff, you know what? I don't know. Where are we?
And that's when I turned around and looked at you, and I said, where are we?
That's right. Right when I woke up, or whatever you want to call it, he turns to me and says, where are we? And we stopped right there, and we had went way too far in too short of amount of time, and we don't know what happened. All three of us were lost. We didn't know where we were. And you can't get lost on this road. It's only a one-way, one-down road.
I can't believe this happened.
But we had to back up like a half a mile to get back to where we knew where we were.
Robert Scott was with us.
Yeah.
He is a non-believer. He was
1 minute.
Freaking. Okay. All right, you guys.
Yeah. It was a weird trip.
Will we tell you exactly what happened? I mean, it's. I don't know.
It was a trip. And I've been doing the time warp song again in my head all day ever since
music. All right, we're out of here. Thank you guys for showing up. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez, Alan Thomas, and Danny, Heidi Hollis. Thank you for showing up. We'll be back next week. Show up. It's going to be another good show. Thank you very much wherever you are.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and on ArtBell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies. And we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky, you realize you're not alone. Open your eyes, you can find the trails that control.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. See you next week.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Keith.
Good audio tonight. See? It's all fixed.
Awesome. I'm
Ooh.
gonna mark him right now with an ink pen.
Super glue.
Yes, absolutely.
Bye-bye.